That was it's been a good time.
Yeah, it's good to be back though.
Yeah, we are live on Instagram tonight. Joey's going to be trying to look at some
We're gonna try to.
comments
Yep,
and shit.
gonna try.
Yep, we got a wide angle lens to fit my girth in, and you know, for Troy or Trevor, you know, we're getting ready to. We're going now. He was
Doesn't look
us.
like it's live on Instagram yet, but
all right. We'll give it a second. Let me see if I hit the right button. Go ahead.
Go for
while
it.
you're talking.
Yeah. So yeah, Troy's impatient. Troy's impatient, and I don't know who else is waiting, but we are live now, and got a couple things to talk about. Got a special guest calling in, or not calling in, but joining us on the stream on the second half of the show. Do a little bit of discussion on the Dave Chappelle boycott Chappelle show talk that we had last week. I have got something from a few years ago that I had to do for school that I'm going to read for you guys.
We might just be fucked with Instagram tonight.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is it doing?
What's that?
What is it? Does it say it's live?
I don't know. I'll fuck with it some more in a little bit.
Okay.
Anyway, so what are we drinking?
So it's a very, very special tonight. Where did I set it? Right behind me, I think. It's a grab bag.
Oh, shit.
There are 8 things in this bag.
Okay. I like this. I like this game.
No 2 of the same thing. There is one brand that's in twice, but it's not the same thing. There's a mixture of flavored things.
Oh, God damn it.
There's some vodka. There's a Tennessee whiskey. There's a scotch.
Okay.
I did go with a 12-year scotch.
Okay.
So,
I hope I don't get the goddamn scotch.
And there's a brandy.
Okay.
So,
my first girlfriend was named Brandy.
Was she?
Yeah.
She's a fine girl. Yeah. So, 8 airplane-sized bottles in here.
Okay.
No 2 of the same. So you and I will not pick the same thing out tonight.
All right. I like this. Oh shit. I'm not even looking. It's gonna
go for it. What's the first thing you got?
Oh, the Jack
Daniels.
Daniels. God damn it.
Jack Daniels. Let me mix this up a little bit and see what I got here. Of course, I get the scotch.
All right. You pop that top, bitch.
We'll go back.
This is a fun game. We'll get to do some grab asses.
Anybody watching or that listens to the audio version that comes out on Mondays, cheers.
Yeah, I'm drinking out of the bottle first. All right. That's fucking Jack Daniels.
That is not nearly as bad as that fucking Johnny Walker Red we tried before.
Oh, Johnny Walker's terrible.
Yeah, that is
in a glass bottle.
Yeah, it's not nearly as bad as any of the other scotches that I've had.
That's very low peat, which I like.
Yeah. So this is Shildag single malt Scotch whiskey.
We got to call this
aged
something.
12 years. Got to call this something? What?
Yeah, this game. The random.
Okay.
Grab bag of booze. I like this.
Yeah.
This would be fun for in-person guests too. I would like that.
It would,
grab bag of booze.
And so you have you got just the straight Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
So I tried to grab 1 or 2 things that I knew that you would be okay with if you pulled them out.
I'm never okay when I have to pull out.
I got mostly things that I didn't think either of us would be happy about.
Right.
So anyway.
Right. Well, nice. Well, hey, so not to just jump in because I want to talk about our weeks and all that shit, but you have a video you wanted to share.
I do.
To get started. If you don't mind, I've heard part of it.
Yep.
If you want to play that video, I will dick with that for a minute while the video is playing. If we want to do that, because that's gonna fucking bother me until I can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, sure.
All right, go ahead and play it. Oh, go ahead. Now, what is this video though? It's Bill Maher, right?
Yeah. So this is Bill Maher.
Isn't he the science guy?
Yeah, he is. So this is it's not quite been a month, but this is I got about 4 minutes of it queued up here to go, and we both like Bill Maher.
Yeah.
He makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of common sense stuff. Yep. He's very, very left leaning, but he's common sense.
But he's not against attacking the left if they're pulling some bullshit.
Absolutely. So anyway, here we go.
There, in my opinion, is the crux of the problem. Democrats too often don't come across as having common sense to a huge swath of Americans. And these are people who believe in QAnon. But as I've said before, politics in this country is binary. You have to wear everything anyone on your side does. Republicans are the party of don't wear masks, kids in cages, lock her up, and Democrats are the party of every hypersensitive social justice warrior, woke bullshit story in the news. They're the party that disappears people or tries to make them apologize for ridiculous things. Anne Hathaway
I just hit myself in the goddamn
apologized
face.
last week because in her new movie she plays a witch, a fictional character that has 3 claw-like fingers, and that's offensive to people with limb differences. Hey. The week before, the NHL's Arizona Coyotes dropped a player after it came out in the press that when he was in 8th grade, he bullied a disabled kid. Yes, that's a bad thing to do. But are we really going after people for what they did in middle school now? Democrats already lost seats for going after what Brett Kavanaugh did in high school. Common sense. Last year, I read about how NBC held an emergency meeting to determine if Mario Lopez should be fired from his job at Access Hollywood. I thought, holy shit, did he sexually assault somebody? No, he went on a podcast, and when the host brought up the trend of liberal parents letting toddlers pick their gender identity, he said, my God, if you're 3 years old and you're saying you think you're a boy or a girl, I just think it's dangerous as a parent to make that determination. Cue the groveling apology, followed by America saying, yeah, I think Mario's right. Maybe kids shouldn't make big life decisions while you still need to make choo-choo noises to get the food in their mouth. I can do this all day. Cite stories, big and small, that are endlessly on people's news feeds that add up to a constant drip, drip, drip of these people are nuts. Everybody heard about that
Bill
story
Maher.
out of San Francisco about a guy who got on a crowded elevator with a female professor, and when she asked what floor, he said, women's lingerie. You know, a little joke, for which he earned a formal complaint because it left her shaken. Shaken? Who are these jellyfish? Like the woman who almost derailed Biden's campaign because he kissed the back of her head before she went out to make a speech. She said her brain couldn't process what was happening. Really? Your brain couldn't process that, like string theory or wormholes? An old man was trying to show support in his old man way. She said she was embarrassed, shocked, confused. Well, then the outside world isn't for you. And and certainly running the world isn't. I talked to a guy in the Midwest once who told me this story about the day he went out to get his car in the supermarket parking lot, but couldn't back out because a mother and her very young daughter were standing behind his car, which was next to their car, which had a Hillary bumper sticker on it. And the little girl was screaming at her mother, who was profusely apologizing to the child. And he said to me, I just can't let people like that take over this country. That's what people vote on, not policy. Democrats kept saying in the campaign, you can't possibly think Trump is preferable to what we're selling. And many voters keep saying, yes, we can. In fact, our primary reason voting for him is to create a bulwark against you, because your side thinks silence is violence and looting is not. Because you're the party of chasing speakers off college campuses and making everyone walk on eggshells and replacing let's not see color with let's see it always and everywhere, formerly the position of the Ku Klux Klan.
God damn.
It would be so easy to win elections if we would just drop this shit. Democrats need to listen to our new president-elect's old boss.
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly.
Quickly, like before they vote in Georgia.
God damn. Yeah. And see, what I like about Bill Maher is he's another one of those guys who's unapologetic in his opinions, right? Like, I don't agree with everything he spits out, but like the fact that he's incredibly liberal with a lot of his beliefs, but he will still go on the offensive against, like I said, common sense. When shit's enough, then shit's enough. You know, I love it.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know why more
that a
people
little
can't
bit.
be. We've played another video of his before on here, and
yeah. Well, a lot of my thing too. It's such an odd thing because of how a lot of, and I hate the fucking term cancel culture that's become bigger. It's fucking stupid. I hate it so goddamn much. But I mean, and I get it. It started out in regards to like TV shows and things going too far and getting canceled. But now it refers to a human being, like, oh, they've been canceled. Like, fuck though. They might have been blacklisted and shit, but it's a stupid goddamn term. Regardless, that's my vent on why I hate fucking cancel culture term. Anyway,
right.
But fuck, I don't even know where I was going with that. I got pissed off about the fucking term cancel culture. But yeah, it's frustrating to say the least, because somebody in a position to be able to speak, it's fucking great for them. But you and I still, there's a line you still have to walk, right? As somebody that doesn't have a fuck ton of money or that isn't rich.
Right.
And so you have to be a little conscious of those social constructs that exist now.
Right.
Like I'm lucky enough to work in a pretty small environment, and the dude has a similar sense of humor to us. So it's easy to talk shit and to make those jokes, but out and about in other places, you got to be really fucking careful. And that's why we have some discussions about like the dude that made some kind of comment about being racist. And you're like, I don't think it was racist. I was like, but yeah, I can see how it was taken that way though. Just because of it's ridiculous. I agree that a lot of times the reason these guys get shot down, like going after the dude, from shit he did in junior high, like that's fucking stupid.
Right.
But I don't know. Because you really can't, like, if I could get fired for shit that I did in fucking junior high and high school, I'd be, especially if I could get fired for shit I did when I was like in my early 20s.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at least the jokes, like if you had a microphone in the room of jokes that we used to make in, junior high and high school. Still do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shit. That's why we don't talk about where we work on the goddamn podcast.
Right. Yeah. So, Instagram is up and running. So hello to anyone on Instagram watching. We can't see the comments on the screen, but we can. I've got it in front of me. So if you guys make a comment,
Tennessee sucks, Joey and Obama. I feel like he's calling me Obama, which I'm greatly honored by.
Sure. Yeah.
That's how I'm taking that comment. I just got compared to President Barack Obama.
You think that's what it is? I think that, well, he's commenting on the UT game because they're getting beat by Florida earlier. But yeah, so
I know what he's saying, but I'm choosing to take this as a comparison.
Right.
That I'm as suave and well spoken as Barack.
Sure. So anyway, like I said, we're up on Instagram.
Instagram Live.
Hunter said he was peeing while watching. So
nice.
It's interesting though that
he's holding that giant dick.
Turning on our live feed makes him want to touch his dick.
Right.
So,
that's what I took that as well.
That's daddy issues.
Yeah, it's all right. We all have them.
How's the Jack Daniels treatment?
Tastes like fucking Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Like Jack Daniels, it's one of those things you shoot it or you mix it with. I hate mixing shit because it's so sweet.
So I did bring some lime juice and some tonic in here just in case you got something that you just really needed.
Oh no, whatever comes out of that bag, I'm drinking straight.
That's fine. This is, again, not as bad as the Johnny Walker that we had, but it's not growing on me the more I drink it. It's peatier the more I drink it.
Yes, it is.
But anyway.
Because Scotch is goddamn terrible.
Yeah. So I bought possibly the best thing that I've ever bought this week.
Okay. What'd you bought?
I bought a robot vacuum.
Yeah.
Actually didn't buy it this week. Yeah, I knew you guys did. So
it's amazing.
Yeah. So it was a Black Friday sale. Excuse me, Friday of color sale. And we I
read a whole article about that the other day.
Yeah. I listened to Bill Maher and his wife talk about it on his podcast on Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving Day. Might as well be Valentine's Day. Let me know when you're ready to go back into the bag.
Finish your fucking story.
That's fine. So anyway, but I've held out on getting one because I want one that maps the house and will pick up where it leaves off.
Oh, so you want one of the fancy ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
got a poor person robot vacuum.
Does your app? Did you? I got a Shark brand. What did you get?
I have an
iRobot, Roomba. Yeah. So you got that's not a poor person one then.
No, I got the trailer park Roomba.
Well, but it's still Roomba. I got Shark. I got the one chasing the pack, but does it auto empty too?
Yes, it does. You fucking asshole!
It auto empties, and then it'll auto empty in the middle of its cycle. So it'll go back to the dog, auto empty, and then it goes right back and picks up where it leaves off. And that's the big thing for me because there's some of them that don't do that. And it's like, well, they may never clean one room because they never make it that far. Also, if it headphones get turned up. Also, if it needs to go back and recharge or whatever, it'll
Right.
do the same thing. It'll go back, pick up where it left off.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. The dogs are not as scared of it as I thought they were. They're
Yeah.
quite concerned. They followed it around a little yesterday when we ran it for the first time. And it was very funny because they would kind of follow as it was trailing away from them. But as soon as it did something, turn to come back, they're like, "Oh fuck, it sees us!"
Yeah.
And then, but so far, no one's peed on it, no one's attacked it.
Yeah.
It just does its thing.
I always wonder how people have these animals that do cool shit. Like you get the videos of cats riding the Roombas around. I was like, what the fucking? That's a ballsy fucking cat, because all of our cats are scared of that shit. Of course, Margot is fucking
Terrified.
She's frittata, as they say on the league, but which I thought that was funny because like Amanda and I rewatched the league the other a couple weeks ago, because she'd only seen like the first season, and of course that's one of the words they use regularly is frittata, and I think it's fantastic. And I was like, I wonder if that actually has any meaning to it. So I just Googled it just for fun. And no, they use frittata because they couldn't say retarded on air. And so it was a way to get around the censors for that. And I think that's fucking hilarious.
Well, it's one of my favorite podcasts. Instead of saying, one of the hosts on there will just straight up say retarded.
Right.
And so she will, but her husband won't. But he says TikTok because they found so many retarded people on TikTok. Right. They called it TikTok or TikTarded. So.
I like it.
Yeah. So anyway.
So I know you don't listen to a lot of new music.
No, not really.
Goldfinger released a new record this week.
Didn't know that.
Fucking outstanding.
Is it?
Yeah. Like Don, like it's funny because Don and I shoot each other music from time to time. And he shouted to me.
Fuck like, you, Don. Don's a rich ass robot. Fuck you, Don.
But so the new Goldfinger, like Herrera sings on like 3 or 4 different tracks. Like I was surprised.
Like lead or just backing vocals?
No, like lead. Well, like they trading off for lead, not like the entire
some Blink
song.
182 shit.
Kind of, well, like a whole verse, just to himself.
So one guy sings ska music, the other guy sings through his nose.
Yeah, no, it's funny though because Herrera's singing like much more like he did on the older records, not that nasally new way he fucking started singing like a few years ago. But the album's fucking great. Like I really like it. Don's pretty pretentious, so he might be like, well, it's not as good as this and that, but it is good. It's the most ska thing they've done in a while, but it's a good record. I know you don't give a shit.
No, I do. I'll check it out. I like a lot of the stuff, the quarantine stuff they did.
Yeah,
videos they released was great.
It's fantastic.
Good. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So how was your week?
It was all right. I worked a fuck ton this week, even.
Yeah.
Just and also trying to catch up for hours that I missed on the holiday. You know? But it was just fucking stupid. We got a couple huge projects coming out and just buried in shit to get out the door. But it's it's whatever. Yesterday. I think I poured a glass of whiskey around noon.
Nice.
It started.
What did you pour?
Powers. No, I finished the Powers on Thursday. It was that Sexton we had. I had some of that.
Okay.
Yeah. It was good shit. How was your week, good sir?
It was a short week. I took a short week this week. Monday is crazy. Monday for us, the Monday after the Thanksgiving holiday is always crazy. But I took a short week this week and took off Friday. The rest of the week was okay. Monday and Tuesday were, Monday was crazy because of the day, but I had to return my work laptop for a refresh and they sent me a new one. And so I didn't get it till toward the end of the day, Tuesday. Yeah. And that just fucked Wednesday up because emails and shit like that. But anyway, I took Friday off because Friday was my anniversary.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
So it was our anniversary.
It was like 32 years of marriage.
21.
Oh,
21.
Close enough.
21 years of marriage. So our all the drinking we do because we've been married that long is now legal. So yeah. So anyway,
nice.
We didn't do anything for our anniversary though. Yeah. We stayed home, ordered DoorDash.
Congratulations, I guess. We've been married about as long. No, we've been I guess I would consider us being married just under that.
You think so?
Because we weren't besties until after y'all had gotten married.
Sure. No, right. We hung out. We were friends approximately around the same time.
We were just keeping it casual.
No, hold on. No. You and I have been friends, not besties, but we've been friends longer than we've been married.
That's what I'm saying. It was casual hookup.
Sure.
It hadn't gotten serious
benefits.
yet.
Sure.
Yeah, man.
So anyway,
Trevor was giving a shit about when we were starting.
Trevor at least was watching on Instagram.
He was watching on here too.
Yeah, but he joined here a few minutes ago.
But then he bailed on here. So hey, look, there's somebody just popped up. But still,
yeah,
I find this very distracting. Like I like having it, but I keep on looking at it. But I'm also really paranoid tonight. I've been scanning between the shit to make sure that I hit record, to make sure that says live, and make sure that's fucking on. Oh my God.
Yeah,
we need an intern.
Really. A temp.
Yeah. We need a little 19-year-old kid that's skinny and scared of everything that we can permanently fuck him up for the rest of his life.
Speaking of a temp, we
Give me
had
another bottle of
a couple
something.
of weeks ago. All right.
It's the grab bag. I do like this though. This is fun.
We talked about it before, but we've never done that. What do you got?
Nemiroff vodka.
So I was going to get some vodka, and I saw that because I always see them on the UFC fights. They sponsor the UFC.
Okay.
So Nemiroff vodka. That's all I know.
11 stages of filtration. Nemiroff Vodka Company, 1872.
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Vodka.
Yeah.
So anyway, a week or two ago.
Hold on. I just opened a bottle. Open a goddamn bottle. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. Just fucking change. Oh, what'd you get? Oh,
I got Kinky Green.
Open the fucking top. Kinky Green.
I'm taking this one straight from the bottle.
Yeah.
I brought ice in here in case we need it.
Oh.
Wow.
You know what? People talk about there's better vodka and cheap vodka. All vodka fucking tastes the same.
It does to me too. This tastes like a green Jolly Rancher.
Okay.
Green Jolly Rancher. Yeah. I need it over ice though.
It's
not bad.
You ever hear the old
not what I would
stupid
want.
joke? If you've got a big green ball in this hand and a big green ball in this hand, what do you got?
What?
The Jolly Green Giant right where you want him.
Or is it right where he wants you?
Right, exactly. I'm just, for all you know, you really like sucking the dick. That's how I picture that.
Sure.
My grandfather used to tell me that joke. The racist one.
All right.
He probably hated green people too.
Green.
So,
that's basically, if we drink all of this tonight, it's basically 4 shots over the span of an hour and a half to 2 hours.
That's fine.
Sure.
So, I listened. So our good buddy Ben recommended a podcast to me several times.
Christmas.
God damn it. Quit doing that shit. Because you're doing that knowing that it's making the fucking back of my here.
I know.
Jesus Christ. You're lucky we made up a few weeks ago, or I'd be fucking mad at you right now. So Ben has recommended a podcast to me multiple times. I think he mentioned it when he was here, but called Time Suck.
Yep.
And I listened to it for the first time because I'm not a big podcast guy.
Right.
It is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Such a goddamn good podcast.
Compare it to something. It's like blah. Rick and Bubba?
No, it's one. It's
No,
one dude, and evidently he's a comedian. I didn't know this, but he basically.
What's his name?
Dan Cummins.
Oh yeah.
So he basically, and I'm sure he has a team to do it, but they heavily research certain things. They do a lot of serial killers, but they do other shit. I listened to one on the Hollow Earth theory and some shit, but they go super in depth, full timeline. Like it's really fucking cool. Like you learn a lot of shit, but he's also like. He's like a lot like us as far as how he talks and the shit that get like probably way funnier than us, but
probably.
But yeah, it's really, really fucking good. So anyway, I can't compare it to anything that's like.
Well, I should know if a radio show or a TV show.
I've never heard an individual like
an individual radio show. Yeah.
I mean, I listened to Bill Burr's podcast once or twice, and I just fucking can't handle it.
Why?
Because I love Bill Burr. Fucking love Bill Burr, but an hour and a half of just Bill Burr talking and not like a routine, but just talking about shit. And and I don't care about sports. He talks about sports a lot.
Yep.
So I can handle Bill Burr. Like I love when he reads his sponsors because he fucking makes fun of his own sponsors. I think that's fucking fantastic.
Yes.
I wish we had sponsors to make fun of.
I remember listening when he lost Nature Box, which is like I guess a food delivery service or whatever,
Right.
and he said. Getting something along the lines of getting your shit delivered from Mother Nature's pussy or something. and that was the next week they were gone. They were done. Yeah. Nature's Box. Yeah.
No, so, I mean, I enjoyed that much, but it's kind of like in spurts. I can enjoy it for a little bit of time, but I prefer listening to music.
Right.
Like if I'm driving, I've started work, like if driving to North Carolina and back, I'll throw on Time Suck now. Cause it's really fucking cool.
Sure.
And I listen to Dak Shepard's every now and then.
It depends on who's on there for me.
Yeah. He gets on my nerves so much.
His ad reads get on my nerves.
Yeah, his ad reads.
And when he's talking to his producer / co-host, that
her
gets
voice
on my
is
nerves.
awful.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't bother me as much, but just the way he just, I don't know what to say.
Well, what is with me, because he portrayed, and I don't know, I'm going to show my toxic masculinity here, but the way he talks, he's very much like, he does some cool shit. He rides motorcycles, he builds cars, like all this shit. But then he's very much in tune with or I shouldn't say in tune, but acts much more woke than he is.
Right.
Just because he's
a
Hollywood.
man's man in his personal life.
But I mean, but with Hollywood
does.
and shit like
Sure.
that, I get, but he puts on this air that I don't know if it was real or not, but either way, like it annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But his interviews, like when the Avett brothers were on, that was a fantastic
I
show.
didn't listen to that.
Yeah, it was really good. He had Rob McElhenney on, and it was a great show.
I listened to that. That was good.
Yeah. And so he's had some really, really good ones. But
my wife,
Edward Norton, such a good show.
I didn't listen to that one, but my wife listens. She loves Dak Shepard. She listened to some of his stuff. She listened to one with Rob McElhenney. Yeah. She's like, I like the guy. He's great. I really liked him. I was like, well, then don't watch Always Sunny.
Right.
I mean, it's not her show. She probably wouldn't like it anyway.
Right.
But still, I listened.
What do you think of that vodka, by the way?
It's okay. It's vodka. That's the thing. It's vodka. That's not a bad drink, but it's not. It's super sweet.
Oh
with
shit!
with a little sour
I was
bite.
not expecting that sweet.
It's sweet with a little sour bite, and I like the sour bite.
That's
but
sucking on a Granny Smith dick.
yeah, if you mix
eating
that
Granny
with
Smith's
something,
pussy.
that might be better mixed with something else as a complement to a superior alcohol.
Oh,
but anyway, forgot what else I was going to say. Have you? I know what it was. Have you watched Dak Shepard's movie that he wrote, and I think he even directed Hit and Run?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's just a love letter to his car. Yeah, really.
I like Chips too. He did Chips.
I didn't watch Chips.
It was good. I like for what it was, and for him, like what it was meant to be. I thought it was.
I hate most of those remakes.
Yeah.
So I don't watch.
Well, it was good
like
because
21 Jump Street. I didn't watch.
It was good.
I know.
The reason
what I hear.
No, the reason is though is because they don't try to mimic and keep the feel of the show. They
and I think I don't like. It's not that I want them to do that, but the original I like or don't or whatever, or I don't care about. But
see, I don't mind a remake if they don't take it, because those are the things. Those movies don't take themselves seriously as remakes.
Sure,
you know what I mean. It's more of paying homage to the to the originals. Is more of what it is. And yeah, like Channing Tatum, it was fucking great in the 21 Jump Street. The second one fucking sucked assholes. Like they should never been made. And at one point they were talking about doing a crossover with Men in Black and 21 Jump Street, which would have been fucking
awful.
Yeah. Which, by the way, my goddamn vindication. I don't know if you saw this tweet.
Okay.
Elon Musk.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Watch Demolition Man.
I saw that.
Like goddamn right.
Elon Musk has said some crazy shit though.
Oh yeah, but
I like Elon Musk.
But he's essentially America's Jesus.
Sure.
Second only to Donald Trump, obviously.
Well, yeah, that too.
Which I found that really interesting, the Bill Maher video, when he compared that a little bit, like, because we've talked about that a little bit before, and he's mentioned it before. We have just a little bit, but that a lot of the Trump vote was really a direct rebellion against where they feel like the liberal overreach.
A lot of people that think like you and I, where we're very socially liberal, but a little more fiscally and things like that conservative, not terribly, but we're a little, we're kind of down the middle, where a lot of those people that would have normally voted against Donald Trump, like could not just completely, like you said, rebelled against what the Democrats had to offer.
Yeah. Well, I listened to this one thing I thought it was really, really interesting is, and this was on actually the Time Suck thing I was telling you about this the other day, but he made this comment, and I've thought about it like this, but not in these words. And he was talking about how people are really, especially Trump supporters, are anti-socialism, socialism this, socialism that. Because he was saying that the stupidity level is so fucking high in America. We need to give people fucking free college. He was like, I'm for it. Like, because if it educates these fucking dumbass pieces of shit, then it fucking helps us on the long run. And he was like,
I don't feel like it does though.
Well, he was like,
anyway, go ahead.
He was like, well, people are like, well, that's socialism. That's this. He goes, we have socialism now. He goes, I'm for certain kinds. He goes, Social Security. What the fuck do you think that is?
Sure.
That's goddamn form of socialism. Unemployment. What the fuck do you think that is?
At least, but on Social Security, you've been paying into that though.
Yeah. Well,
it's not just taxing everyone else.
That's
to give you the money.
What Social Security is, you're paying into that by tax without your consent.
Yeah, I understand that, but I understand you're paying into it without your consent, but it's not quite the same thing.
It's a tax.
But I don't disagree with what you're saying, but it's not quite the same.
How is it not the same?
Because you're drawing what you've paid in. You're not
Okay.
You're not always, some people are. You're not always drawing in what the other people paid in.
Okay.
That's the thing. Because
All
that's
right,
what I'm saying. Because it's not the other people that are funding you.
Point being, any type
Yeah,
of,
I get the point.
any type of government distributed funds from taxes is a form of socialism because it's the government taking care of you.
Yeah.
It's same thing with unemployment, welfare, like all that shit. All those are fucking socialism concepts that we've implemented here because it's taking care of people. And he was like, I'm not for a lot of socialism shit, but free education is one. And you say it wouldn't create more dumbasses, but most countries with free education have a much higher overall intellect across the board and more successful people.
Intellect, I think so, but I think the more people that have a college education, the less valuable. I mean, because it's almost gotten to the point now in the corporate world where a bachelor's degree is not enough. You have to have a master's degree.
Depending on where you want to go, right?
Right. For the most part, that's kind of, I see it now. It's like bachelor's degree required, master's degree preferred.
Right.
And it's like the more people that have a bachelor's degree, the less valuable it is.
It's really not valuable anyway.
No, I understand that, but society has deemed it that way.
But what I'm talking about is a base level of just knowledge. If you don't have the college where you have some open-mindedness and some things, because at least then it sets a baseline of intelligence. If you choose not to go, then whatever. But then you have your master's, doctorate, and so you still have a tier of education that you can set you apart because you've put in the extra work.
Sure.
But to have a fucking baseline of education for people would be fucking fantastic. I mean, hell, even free public school is a form of goddamn socialism. So anyway, like I'm not opposed. Now, I think if we did ever implement free college, whatever, like there's no fucking like, oh, well, now all of your all of your fucking student debt is expunged, because
I don't think you should go back and
maybe within a certain time frame. Like if it's okay, it's the last 5 years, you've whatever, we just passed this, whatever. But if you had student debt from 20 fucking years ago, no, like that happened way before. So that actually brings me up to a question that I had for you, and I'm glad that we went down that road. Okay. So
you're glad that you steered us down that road?
No, that made me think of it. You fucking dick.
I know. I'm just
so
kidding. Hey, wait, quick, Gemma. Jim, as I hear, Trevor and Troy has logged into Instagram to watch. Hello, Gemma. It's nice to have you.
Yeah, thanks for.
We do this nearly every Saturday night. So, what you said you agree with that? What is it you agree with?
Goddamn free education.
Well, I just want to make sure because it's a slight delay. So go ahead now and ask your question, and when I see her comment when I see her comment come up, I'll answer.
Okay.
What's the question?
So was it Oregon that just recently legalized all the drugs?
Pretty much,
which is fucking awesome to me.
Yeah.
But
free education, she says. All right.
See. Yeah. So if they legalize, because they just actually have a bill that just passed through, federal bill going through trying to completely decriminalize marijuana.
Sure.
Right. The states can still make their own decisions towards it, but on a federal, because right now it's still illegal federally.
Sure.
So technically, if feds could raid,
you know how excited I am about that.
Yes, I do.
Because it doesn't matter if Tennessee makes it legal.
Mm-hmm.
My company still says no, you can't do it because it's not federal.
Right.
Once it goes federal, though,
game on.
Game on. Sorry.
So it's all right. My company now.
For anyone watching or listening to this, I have never done the closest thing to illegal drugs I've ever done is taken a pill that wasn't prescribed for me.
And I've taken lots of drugs.
Absolutely.
legal and not.
Yeah, you're my daddy when it comes to that.
I'll teach you everything you need to know.
You've been grooming me for years.
I'm gonna fucking put those shrooms right here. Take it.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway.
Oh, I didn't know they went in your butt.
Oh, they go anywhere you want them to go.
Okay. All right.
Mushrooms don't typically work in your ass, but doesn't mean I'm not
going to figure anywhere they get in the bloodstream's got to be all right.
Okay.
This is growing on me.
Jesus Christ.
The scotch did not, but this is growing on me.
Bill was passed in the house.
Nice.
So, all right. Okay. So along that, how do you feel about if marijuana gets completely legalized?
Federally. Yep.
Federally. As far as letting people out of prison that were put there on drug-related charges, non-violent, weed-related charges.
I'm for it.
Really?
Yes.
Across the board?
Yeah, I don't think they should be in there anyway. I don't think no one that was selling a dime bag of weed or whatever should be in jail that long.
Right. I agree.
If it was illegal, maybe you serve a little bit of time.
I'm talking
or you
about
do some
what about
community
okay,
service.
so I agree on that for sure.
If it's weed related, if once it's legalized, you got to go back and say,
what about trafficking?
Sex trafficking?
Right.
Oh.
I'm talking about people that were arrested for like marijuana trafficking. Intent to distribute, intent to sell. Like had they got pulled over with fucking like an entire trunk full of fucking bricks.
I could say time served.
Okay.
I could say that.
See, I'm on the now.
Gemma says she thinks that they should get out. Why are they even in there? And I agree.
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
what I'm saying. I agree. I'm just going to play devil's advocate because I agree 100% for nonviolent offenders, fucking out, and especially because disproportionately, like because you'll get some white dude that molests some fucking kids. Like this happened in Alabama not long ago.
Sure,
this dude got convicted of fucking molesting some kids. He got 6 fucking months.
Yeah,
and then in Alabama still, if you get caught with a fucking joint in your car, it's like 10 to 15 years.
Sure,
like it can be.
Well, and that's one thing Gemma just brought up is that people are getting life for drugs, but 10 years for murder, and that doesn't make any sense, is what she just said.
100
Completely agree. Completely agree.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, sure.
So,
problem is you're talking to the devil about this.
Right.
Here's my stance on drugs. All drugs should be legal if you're an adult.
Right.
Once you endanger someone else because of the drugs you're doing, fucking bury them under the jail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if kids are involved in it.
Right.
That's my thing.
Yep.
Why, as an adult, can you not sit in your house and shoot heroin, smoke crack, whatever? I don't care.
Right.
You are an adult. You're deciding whether it's good for you or not.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah. Well, the part of that though, and I had read this, there's a fuck ton of different reasons for different things. Right. But one of the reasons they were saying that was the hurdle in certain areas for legalizing marijuana was because there hadn't been a test that had been made that they could test for driving high.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people defend that. Oh, you can drive high. It's like, no, it's fucking like anything else. Anything that's a depressant is going to fuck up your.
Some people can drive high. Some people can drive drunk.
Right.
But you got to have a rule.
But it's still a risk. Right.
Board.
And then the thing is though, but it's the same like for driving fucking with oxy in your blood. You know what I mean? But there's, they can test some of that shit later, but at the time, regardless. But that's the thing. Like, cause you can't test somebody if they're fucking driving high with fucking kids in the back. And I get that. That doesn't make anything illegal in my opinion, but like if you get in a wreck and they fucking so along those lines, if somebody gets in a wreck and they're suspected of being under the influence of any subject, should they be put on a mandatory drug test?
If they're suspected of it, yeah, sure. I mean, why not just drug test anyone that has a wreck if it's their fault?
If it's their fault, yeah, I guess. But I mean, because people say that's infringing on their rights, but to me, that's the only compromise between the two. Like, without having anarchy and be able to just do what the fuck ever, it's kind of like a DUI. Of course, you can't smell any breath, but like, there's got to be some concessions made somewhere, right? Because like free reign is good, doing what you want, whatever. Like, it's not hurting anybody else. But like, how do you prove that you've hurt somebody else because of these things? There has to be some, like a kid or whatever the fucking case may be.
Yeah.
Anyway. Going back to the weed thing.
Yep.
So again, non-violent offenders, right? Well, what if, like in the case of somebody that's a felon for like dealing, selling, smoking, whatever the fucking case may be, but in the process of getting arrested, they either fled or fought back, whatever the case may be. And so there's another charge tied into that is a violent offense, not for murder, not for, whatever, but for something along those lines. Like, then how do you feel about it? Does it change the fact that they have to serve the rest of the time?
Hold on, say that again.
Okay, so say somebody was caught in possession, right? And so they ran from the police, and somebody else or an officer or whatever was injured because of that situation. So they had another charge of assault or some shit like that tied on to the drug charge. Then what?
To me, you got to drop the drug charge and then serve whatever time for whatever your other charges were.
Okay.
Because it would be like if you were not trafficking. If you were, let's just say you're just standing on the corner, like people used to, that was the stereotype, and you're selling some joints to some people, but you're carrying an illegal weapon. the serial number's filed off, whatever. You got to serve whatever time goes along with that, and you drop anything drug related.
But they would never have gotten caught with that illegal weapon had they not been busted for selling drugs.
They still broke the law with it. They still got caught.
But they still broke the law when they were selling the drugs.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that law has changed, so
Right.
now you go back and you wipe that one out.
See,
the other law hasn't.
I'm honestly 50-50.
Sure.
Like I feel like that. Yeah, if you're,
I wouldn't be upset if they dropped it, but I'm saying, maybe because we have to somehow police some of that kind of thing. You can't just you can't just go, well, and here's the gun you had that you shouldn't have been caught with.
Right.
So
and again, I'm playing devil's advocate because I 100%, if you're in for a non-violent offense, you get the fuck out. Like right now, if you're in and you've served over fucking 5 or 10 years, then you're fucking out. It's stupid. It's a stupid amount of time. And it's especially, and I get shit for this, but it's really true. It's disproportionately in minorities. Like, and it's fucking stupid.
Well, so Jim is saying the same thing. So, well, they should serve the time, but that needs to be clarified. But let's be honest, if you take the weed charge off the table, would that person have been arrested in the first place? Probably not.
What I've always felt like should happen, and this is take all this, but as far as our legal system goes, like we have this, like a lot of it is at the judge's discretion or at the jury's discretion as far as the type of punishment that they get. And as long as it's not quote unquote cruel or unusual, there's a lot of fucking leeway there. Yeah. And that's one reason that fucking like black people have gotten just fucking dicked with a lot of this stuff, as if it was a straight across the board. Yeah. Hey, you get caught, you get convicted for 3rd degree murder. This is what happens. You get caught for 2nd degree murder. This is what happens. You get caught on this related, and it's across the board, regardless of race, regardless of whatever. And there should be no, well, you seem really fucking remorseful, so we're going to only give you this, and
right.
And I have a hard time with plea deals as well. Like to me, that's a little fucking like, oh, you murdered 17 people, but you're going to give us information on your boss that's called for these people. Yeah, we're going to let you off with fucking 4 months. Like, no, fuck you, man.
Yeah, but I think some of that stuff has to be weighed. It was like, would they have murdered those 17 people had this other person not been pulling the strings?
Right.
And that's one of those greater good things.
But but that's when I think, because sometimes plea deals, though, they're ridiculously disproportionate.
They are.
Because if it's like, okay, you're getting death row if you fucking don't talk to us. If you do talk, you're still going to do life, but we're not going to fucking, put you to sleep in, 3 years.
Sure.
And that should be the thing. You've got convicted of the death penalty, and I'm weird on the death penalty. I've given this a little thought, but for instance, if you sped that process up and say, okay, you can either fucking die in 6 months or you can do life in prison. If you fucking tell us who this is, we don't kill you in 6 months.
Sure.
That's still doing the time for what the fuck you did, but that's a pretty decent, because most people are like, oh, I'd rather fucking live for 50 years in here than you fucking kill me in 6 months.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, so what I just saw.
Yeah. Well, she just was saying she agrees with us. That should happen. That's how law should be written. And I hate plea deals, is what she says.
Yeah. And
for me, it depends on the situation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I agree, but it depends. Basis. But you get people too, like people that get busted for child pornography.
Sure.
They'll give up other people and they'll get 6 months for fucking, taking pictures of them banging a 6-year-old.
Sure.
Fuck that asshole.
Yeah.
And that's when I would I'll give you a plea deal, and then I'm going to fucking, it's like, okay, but I'm not going to tell you about the part where you're going to get raped over and over.
I just, I'm fine with lying to them when it comes to that. Child pornography.
But I get there has to be standard, and I get there's got to be rule, because as much as a lot of people don't.
This is a slight conversation for the lawyer later.
But anyway, it still can come up. But my whole thing is it's hard to paint everything with a broad brush, right? Yeah. Because there's always extenuating circumstances in certain areas.
Yeah.
But there should be certain crimes that, when convicted beyond a doubt, the shit was on camera.
Yeah.
You have proof. Like, there's no fucking wiggle room.
Well, to me, you speed up the process. If you walk into a gas station to rob the place, and you just put a gun to the person's head, you pull the trigger and you take the money, and we've got the video evidence of it. We've got the video evidence of it.
Right.
There's no need for a trial at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I get the argument some people would make for that, but why?
Right.
Well, why?
Well, because at that point, and people will say, well, their reasons, their motivation mattered. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like, I get if you're trying to feed your family, you will do some desperate shit to feed your family. But that doesn't change the fact that you fucking took somebody's life to feed your family. As fucked up as that may be, like, nobody made you do that shit. Like, desperation will drive people to do crazy things. But at some point, you got to say, okay, your motivation doesn't matter. You did this. You know, and like people get off because, oh, I knew my husband was molesting, or their stepdad was molesting my kid, but I was afraid he would kick us out and I wouldn't have anywhere to live. So I let it happen. Like, bitch, you are just as fucking complicit as he was. You know what I mean? Like, it drives me crazy. Like, if you know some bad shit's going on like that, and you're allowing it to happen, that your motivation of why doesn't fucking matter. Like, you protect that shit, you know?
Yeah. Well, and so Jim has said, no trial is needed. Motivation doesn't matter. Breaking the law to feed your family should not get you a deal.
Right.
That's one thing she said.
No, I'm different.
Crimes against children is different conversation too. She thinks they should all die. She said that as well.
Right. Castor. Well, yeah.
Sure.
But as far as the motivation, to me, that matters if you're just stealing.
Sure.
Like a non-violent offense. And I'm not talking about stealing for like robbing you in an alley.
Sure.
I'm talking about if you get busted for shoplifting because you're trying to steal some fucking bread.
Sure.
It's against the law. Yeah. And there should be punishment, but I don't think you should fucking go to prison for a fucking year because you took some goddamn, bread and milk.
So let me ask you this along those lines, the whole three strikes thing. I think Clinton maybe put that into play. I can't remember. But the whole 3 strikes and you're out thing. You get arrested for 3 crimes, you're going to jail.
I hate vodka.
So that has some people, their 3rd strike has been something like that. They're stealing a bag of chips from a convenience store. And then they end up going to jail for years.
But that's the problem with the 3-strike rule.
So how do you feel about the 3-strike rule?
So does it cover, like, I'm assuming is it, I don't know a lot about it. I'm going to be honest. Is it minor offenses? Like 3 minor offenses is one fucking big?
So Jessica says not crimes, felonies. What do you, I don't know what to do. I mean, to me, a felony is a crime and
there's
misdemeanors are crimes, but no, I know there's a difference in misdemeanors and felonies and
well, going off, jumping off that, how do you feel about felonies losing the right to vote? Felons.
I don't think I care either way. Honest to God. I used to say no minor offenses don't count. Okay. That's what she said. I guess on the 3-strike rule.
So 3-strike rule is 3 felonies?
I guess so. Or
that's 3 misdemeanors.
Misdemeanor.
That's how I always said it when I was a kid. Misdemeanors.
Sounds like a principal's name. I was going to ask you if there were urban legends about your principal and the different pals they have, but you're fucking homeschooled. So.
Dude, from 6th grade on.
All urban legends about how big their dick was.
No, did I dude, I tell you, when I was stationed in Alaska at one point, they would do, because if anybody got in trouble, they usually would let shit go on the down low. But because there was no hard alcohol. You could get a certain amount of beer on the weekends type of thing, because it was only 20 people and you had to have the station running, blah, blah, blah. But goddamn. But people got sloshy packages in the mail all the time.
Sure.
And you'd put them in the overhead, you'd hide them in different places. And they usually didn't say shit until there was some shit went down, and then there was inspections and they'd find stuff, people get in trouble. But they were doing a room search, and over one person's room, they found a fucking paddle like this goddamn big and this wide, where they used to do hazings. It was old. Yeah. It was engraved. Like, I had it for a while. I called it the Ass Blaster 3000 because that shit, dude, I shit you not, it was this big. It had holes in it this big. This fucking, it would have ruptured your fucking anus, like straight up tearage just from the hits. And I was like, they paddled the shit out of people with this.
We had an assistant principal at one point.
And also, I don't know why Jessica's chiming in. She doesn't know shit about law.
We had an assistant principal that had a wooden baseball bat that had been shaved down flat with holes in it. It still had the grip and everything. And it was, the assistant principal was a woman. And she would take a couple of steps back away. She'd make you stand at the wall, bend over and grab your ankles. And then she would crow hop into it and turn her hips. And she was a former softball coach.
Yeah.
And she would turn her hips into it. And her goal was to catch your ass so hard that it made you lean forward and your head hit the wall. and no one wanted to get paddled by her.
Oh my God, I bet. That's fucking crazy.
Anyway, I forgot where, you're talking about the right to vote.
This has gone everywhere. I was just wondering if that was the right to vote.
I used to think no, you shouldn't.
Right.
But I don't care.
Well,
either way.
If voting doesn't matter, then let everybody vote.
No, I mean it's not.
Let immigrants vote. Let illegal people vote. Let fucking. I don't give a shit.
There are no illegal people, Stephen. We're all God's children.
You know what's funny though, because when you think of an illegal immigrant, what do you think of? If you don't say Mexican, you're fucking lying.
Well, actually, I was going to say when it depends on who says it, but for the most part, in this part of the country, when someone says illegal immigrant, I think Hispanic.
Right. Because the funny thing is, like, there's a lot of quote unquote illegal immigration that comes from Mexico.
Sure.
But did you know that there is a ridiculously high amount of Asian illegal immigrants that come in through Canada?
Yeah, Vancouver.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I had no idea. I was reading some shit. I was like, well, goddamn.
Yeah.
But we don't kick them out because they're good at math.
Well, we also had a little thing called Japanese internment camps at one point.
Yeah,
so
true. Well, dude, have you ever read anything about the history of deportation with Mexicans in this country?
No.
Jesus Christ, we have fucked them bad.
Tell me a minority that we haven't fucked bad.
Oh, we haven't. We fucked every minority like
sure
bad over this. But I'm just saying, Mexicans, the Japanese, and black people, we have like. Out of all the other races in the world, we have just fucking dicked them over time. None as bad as we have black people, but we have fucked over Mexicans and we have fucked over Japanese people.
Sure. So let me ask you this. Why do Japanese, how do I word this?
Chopsticks. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I was going to say, why is it that the same leeway or whatever is not given to Asians that is given as far as like what you say about their culture or them as a race or whatever? You get what I'm saying? Like in this day and age, and understand it's not quite as prevalent in the South,
right.
But I'm just saying Jewish people the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You say whatever the fuck you want about Jewish people and Asian people. For the most part,
right?
No one's going to say anything about it. I wonder why that.
I think it's the spotlight culturally because we've never enslaved Asian people or Jewish people. That's one.
Sure,
right. That's one.
As a country, we've not.
Right. Absolutely.
We put the Japanese people in the internment camps back in the war.
Right, but that's swept under the rug. I'm saying
sure.
As far as massive public knowledge, like we've enslaved black people.
Yep.
And then we've treated Mexicans with deportation, separating families, all that shit, and have openly talked about them like they were fucking dogs from fucking.
Well, you say we. I'm Native American, so I haven't done it.
I'm talking we as white Americans.
Exactly.
Or as
you guys as white Americans.
Or as Americans in general. Like America has not been kind to those too.
Yeah,
Japanese people, other than, or Asian people, I should say, other than the internment camps in World War II, and they got fucked over, but that was such a brief period of time. It's not as socially sensitive, I think. And other minorities are the same. Like Jewish people, like it's more taboo in certain areas than others, but as a whole, like even phrases we use, whatever. It's not nearly as I know, which is weird to me, but I think it's because too, we have a savior complex that we went in during World War II and America saved
white
the Jews.
Yeah,
it's white saviorism.
Yeah. That's why I married my wife.
Right. Oh my God.
No. So there was a term when we were young. Do you remember what it was? We're talking about, Well, we're talking about Asians, Japanese people. Do you remember that term?
Just between me and you, or
no. In general, I heard it a lot
because of my grandfather. I know so many racial slurs against so many different races.
I used to hear the term Jap slap so much.
Oh yeah, okay.
Jap slap was a huge thing. Yeah.
But no, I've heard because my grandfather, he hated black people. He hated Japanese people, which he considered anybody Asian Japanese, essentially.
Sure, of course.
And then every other race was just subpar. Like he was very much, like that. And so I've heard every racial slur that I very rarely do I hear one, and I'm like, oh, I've never heard that before. I will say though, we had, while I was in the Coast Guard station in Hawaii, actually, they had just had that big it made the national news. That's one other serviceman, another one left like a noose in their drawer or hanging up in their barracks. It was a big fucking deal. So then we immediately had a racial sensitivity training, which in my experience in the military, not saying racism doesn't exist, but because of the type of environment that you're in, there's a lot less of it because you all depend on each other type of shit. Again, not that it doesn't exist, but less of it. But so, and everybody has usually a much more thick-skinned sense of humor than people do now.
Similar to sports.
Yeah. But anyway, so this guy came in to give racial sensitivity training, and he was going over words you can and can't say and things, and they're on a fucking slideshow, and of course there's only the major ones listed on there. And so then people, of course, started raising their hands, and they'd be like, "Well, what about this word?" Just so they could say, like, "Oh, well, what about this slur? What about this slur?"
Yeah.
And I've never seen somebody get so uncomfortable so fast and like, "No, you can't say that."
Daniel Tosh had a bit like that one time.
Yeah.
Where he had another comedian say different things, and some of them were just nonsense words. Like one of the words was bulag.
Right.
It's just a made up word. But the comedian, I cannot think of the comedian's name. He was an older guy, and he just kept sitting there going, bulag. Bulag. And the white one was going, "I don't know, that just sounds bad. That just sounds uncomfortable."
Well, like one of the things I distinctly remember, and if this clip gets out of context, it's going to be so bad.
Just wait.
But no, please don't clip this one. But anyway, no, the guy, so on the list, they had like the N-word, they had, basically all kinds of different slurs. And
what's up, Trevor?
Hey, man. So this guy, so they said, and this was, you could not say wetback. You could say beaner.
Sure.
they designated like, "Oh, that one's probably not so bad." It's the goddamn same thing. I was like, "What is wrong with you guys?"
Do you remember the NoFX album called White Trash, Two Hebes, and a Bean?
Yeah.
That's the greatest album title of all time.
Anyway, but it just trips me out, like how in certain environments that shit is so fucking compartmentalized.
Yeah.
Like these 3 words are okay to say, but these 3 words you never say. I'm like, all of them are derogatory terms for another fucking race or group of people. Right. Like if you're gonna not say one, you can't say any of them because all of them are meant to be disparaging. All of them.
How do you feel about people that say derogatory slurs about white people?
I don't care.
Sure, but do you think it falls under that same rule?
See, here's the weird thing with that. No, like I don't. Because
if you have a comment on this, call in 754-CALL-B3F.
And I'll tell you why I don't. And it's kind of like what we talked about briefly with Trevor and Troy, that like race is different for different areas, but nobody wants equality. Everybody wants power, right? So the people that are in power want to keep power. Yep. The people that don't have power want the power. And so I feel like it's less bad to mock or use slurs against the people in power than it is against the people that aren't, and the people that are, I don't know. And again, I'm so morally flexible. It's not a right and wrong thing to me. It's just, I get this is how people are. I can't do this shit because it's going to make my life harder. Like I understand that, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like one's swinging low. Like it's, what's the, I'm trying to think of something I heard recently that compared it to. It's swinging up versus swinging down, and not
punching
as
up.
Yeah. And that's not as far as like the quality of the human being or whatever, but just as far as like an authoritarian standpoint. It was, comedians like, you can swing and give shit to the comedians that are your equals or the comedians that are above you, but the up and coming comedians that are trying, you don't fucking shit on them because they're coming up.
Yeah, you don't unless they do something to deserve it. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same way. Like if you're the king or the queen, if you can have a sense of humor and take your licks, then you're a fucking shitty ass king and queen. You know what I'm saying? And essentially, like, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. But also,
no, it doesn't bother me.
But racial humor doesn't bother me either.
Absolutely.
It bothers some people, but again, I'm conscious enough of other people's feelings and where they're at that I'm not going to openly like attack someone else or make fun of or whatever.
How do you feel about people that use a racial slur if they're repeating what someone said and they use the racial slur that someone said while telling you? How do you feel about that?
It depends on context. Like some people are saying, "Oh, it gives me an excuse to say this."
Some people are doing that, but and so I differentiate between there is a difference between someone that uses, well, let's just take the granddaddy of them all, the N-word.
Right.
That's that could very well be the one word that you can't say now.
Ever.
Right.
You can't. There's other words you can't say, but not near the.
But you'll get a
degree,
pass
degree.
on most of those other ones in certain circumstances. Almost no circumstance. Anyway, what I'm saying is there's a difference between someone that uses the word and someone that says the word.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
if I'm going, hey, did you hear what so-and-so said? They said this, and I say that word, I'm someone that says the word, but I'm not someone that uses the word. And there's a difference.
There absolutely is. There absolutely is.
But there, to your point, there are people that use that as an excuse to say it.
Right.
So,
but it's so weird to me. Like, language is such a fucking weird thing.
Yeah.
Because we put taboos on certain words, like especially in certain communities, like cunt. Not so much here, but still in America, in the South, cunt is fucking some of the worst words.
And I love that word.
In the Latino community, you call a fucking Latin woman a cunt, and she's gonna fucking cut your goddamn throat. Like you don't.
Sure.
It's silently, but like for me, words are words. Period.
Sure.
Like intent means a lot to me, right? But I don't give a fuck. But I understand when people do, and to me, part of the world, as much as I'm like not empathetic, as much as I don't give a shit about certain things. I do believe in respect, right? That's one of the few things that I hold to be sacred, lack of a better word.
Near and dear to your heart.
Right. And so, like, believe what the fuck you want, but if you can't respect another human being, then fuck you. You're a piece of fucking shit.
Right.
And that's just how I am. Like, regardless of what I believe, regardless of what you believe, right? Because we differ on some things.
Yeah.
And as much as like we joke, like I have respect for you because you're a fucking human being. Like I think you're a piece of shit as a friend, but as a human being.
See, I'm the opposite. I think you're a pretty good friend, but you're a piece of shit as a human being.
No, that's fair. but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I can hate somebody and I'll still give them let me rephrase it. I will give someone a baseline of respect until they give me a reason to take that away.
Right. Yeah.
But initially meeting somebody, I don't care who the fuck you are, you're on level playing ground. And then you can go up or down from there.
So I was going to bring something up just, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, probably. I don't know how we got on race again. Like Bill Maher, I guess.
Yeah, he started the whole thing. Fucking Bill Maher.
Bill Maher, man.
That pasty ass bitch that's richer than we will ever be.
Yeah. Also, into black chicks. Bill Maher, big time into black. Like that's his attraction.
Well, so are you. So you guys have something.
So yeah, right. I mean, anyone listening that doesn't know, that wasn't a joke.
That's true.
I was going to say something when I asked you about why is it that slurs about Asians, especially Japanese people, doesn't near get the flack. Mm-hmm. There was a study that came out. I think it was Princeton that did the study, and I'll try to find it sometime and tell you exactly. But I wanted to get your opinion on this. That if you're Asian, you actually lose points on like the SAT, ACT, standardized testing for college, just because you're Asian.
Right.
Other minorities get a bump because they're a minority. White people are starting to get some, as we get dumber and dumber, are starting to get some points. But for the most part, white was getting a deduction as well. But you were either getting points added to your test score or taken away from your test score strictly based on race.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't care.
Sure, but you got to have some kind of moral thought on it. I
really don't, because I feel like I'm one of those people, and I've had a few things that I've been staunchly on over the years. Like really in the last 5, my mind has legitimately changed on.
Yeah.
Like the whole pulling yourself up from the bootstraps thing. Like I'm seeing a lot of holes in that fucking argument.
Yeah. And hey kids, that's what real progressive is.
Right. And so like, and I'm okay with that, but like things like that, like, because I truly believe like people have different amounts of, I hate the word luck in this situation, but situationally people are provided with better things than others, regardless of race, depending on where you are. Like there's black people that end up against all odds out of the fucking ghetto and being successful.
Sure. There's
white people that manage to break out of the trailer park with meth head parents that go on to do better things.
Yeah.
It's equal like that across the board. I'm not saying it's normal, but it happens, right? And people in those situations tend to look down on the people that don't get out of that, but they don't take into consideration some of those things they've had. All that aside, if you work fucking hard enough, you might not be rich, you might not be famous, you might not be mega successful. But regardless of your SAT score, you can do well in life. And so like, that's why it's a fucking test. Now, if it sets you up from getting in Harvard to not getting in Harvard, then yeah, I could see people getting miffed about that. But as a whole, I know people personally that just fucking bombed the SAT, ACT that went on and were fucking great, smarter than me, better than me, and all, which isn't hard, but so it's a test. Like, people like to put a lot of meaning in these pivotal moments that we've established in our lives, but one fucking test doesn't make you into the fucking adult you're gonna be. And vice versa. I don't have a fucking college education. I have a 2-year associate's degree. But the degree or the area that I'm in now, I should have a fucking bachelor's, but I've managed to bust my ass enough. And that's not without help in my younger years, for sure. I've made a lot of shitty decisions, but my decision to go into the military is what was the catalyst to get me to where I am. And that I have done on my own. But again, a test is a test, you know? And if it helps level the playing field, so to speak, I don't care. Like, it's one of those things, like, I joke, but I truly don't fucking care.
No, I understand that you don't care about that. I just, I think doing anything for someone strictly based on race is not a good path to start down.
It's not, but I'm just saying, in as far as an application, I don't fucking care.
No, I'm not talking about an application. I'm talking about anything though. But anyway, you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break. It's been a minute.
So we're going to take a break. If this is the first time you ever watched us live on Instagram, whatever,
I'm a dirty fucking whore of a smoker.
We're going to take a break. The live stream on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter will stay up. You'll just see you'll see something on the screen, or you'll see
we have a banner. Please stand by.
Yeah. If you're on Instagram, we'll disconnect the feed, and then we'll be back after 10 minutes or so. Yeah. And then we have someone special that's going to be on with us.
Special's a stretch, but somebody that's smarter than us.
Someone's definitely smarter than us.
Well, in certain things. In law, they're smarter than us because they're a lawyer.
So we're going to have someone on in the second half. We're going to still have some legal discussion and things like that. So stay tuned. You can call in 754-CALL-B3F. That's 754-225-5233. Yep. And you can ask questions.
And you can text that
comments.
number too.
You can text that number as well if you don't want to. And if you want to be anonymous, make sure you in your text you say that you want to be anonymous.
Yep. And the same thing. Like, if you comment on here and you don't want to be anonymous, nobody sees it unless we post it. So you can, you can do that too.
Yeah.
And real quick, we've been meaning to do this morning. I know we're running over for where we usually are on a break.
Sure.
But we've been meaning to shout out our friends, and usually I want to do it earlier in the show, but fucking two brothers, fucking Trevor Jackson,
Troy and Trevor,
and CQ. He needs to do more for us.
Yeah, he called us last week.
But all great dudes. Like, they're some of my favorite guys that we talk to. And if you like podcasts or live streams, I'd highly recommend checking those guys out.
If you're into pop culture, CQ is where it's at. If you're into just general conversation about things, whether two people that may have different opinions, Two Brothers is great.
Yep.
Trevor Jackson does his own stuff as well.
Like, we're two fucking white dudes, so we try to come fairly open-mindedly, right? But we have certain preconceived notions just because of who we are.
Sure.
So they have some really great conversation on theirs from a much different perspective.
Well, and Troy has called in before and busted our balls.
So. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Troy's a dick.
Yeah.
I like him.
But I've taken two calls from Troy since
I'm joking. Like, I like Troy a lot. I think Trevor's a dick. Well, let me rephrase it. Trevor's a vegan lightweight, but I still love the guy.
Yeah, he is a lightweight on the drinking. So we'll be back in roughly 10 minutes.
Yep. We'll be back soon.
Thanks.
Hey, everybody. We'd like to take a minute to tell you about a really cool podcasting app called Stitcher Premium.
Yeah, Stitcher Premium is, like you said, a free app, and they've got everything you could look for: true crime, comedy, pop culture, The Office ladies. I think Conan O'Brien's podcast is on there. There's lots of things on there.
And archives of all those things.
Oh, yeah. And smart lists.
Yeah, the smart lists. That's what I was about to say, you fuck. Smart lists basically will watch what you're listening to, or listen to what you're listening to, use some fancy algorithms, and make recommendations on shit that you already like.
Yeah, so if you go to Stitcher.com/premium and use the code B3F, you can get a month free. So it's $4.99 a month, or $34.99 if you pay for a full year. But use the code B3F, and you'll get a free month.
Check it out. All right. We're back.
We are back.
So, yeah, we've got a special guest that's called in this evening.
Yep. Yes, we do.
Yep. And yeah, so we're going to, do you want to announce who this is? Well, first, hold on. Before we add her in, I gave away the gender. I'm sorry. I hope she doesn't
How
have specific.
dare you assume her gender?
I hope it doesn't have specific gender pronouns, and I apologize if I got this incorrect.
Right.
But grab bag.
Oh, grab bag.
Grab bag.
There's 4 left in here.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on. What do you got?
God damn it. American fucking honey. You fucking kidding me? It's fucking
Wild Turkey
garbage.
American
It's
honey.
not even whiskey.
This is the brandy.
Oh, Jesus.
American
Christ.
brandy. Yeah.
I feel like we need to get some kind of like back from break intro music going on here.
You think so? Yeah, maybe.
I already poured mine. Sorry. Line this shit up. Cheers. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's bad. Fuck you.
Oh,
Fuck you.
that's interesting.
Ah, Jesus.
That's interesting. I know what's left in there now.
Yeah, I know you do. So we're gonna bring our guest on here. So do you want to announce who this is?
Yeah. So this is my sister.
Yep.
Jessica. She is a corporate attorney, and I think her title is Esquire. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't remember if that's what it is or not. So
well, that's just a designation.
Designation.
attorneys
Excuse me.
use.
That attorney.
That's not my job title.
Like Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Esquire.
Yeah.
That's what you automatically lose respect for the Esquire because it's an instant relation to Bill and Ted to me.
What is your title? You don't have to say the company you work for. What's your title?
Senior corporate counsel.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
All right.
Okay. So she lives in.
Oh,
Tennessee.
I'm drinking a ranch water.
Oh, ranch water.
She gets the canned ranch water.
No,
Canned ranch water? Or
Is
do you
it
make
canned?
false.
Oh, you
I
make it
my
yourself?
own. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to. Can you buy ranch water? in a
Yes, you
can?
can.
Yes,
you
you
can
can
buy
in a
canned.
can.
ranch.
That sounds terrible.
You can buy it. Yes.
Yeah.
But she also, like you said, she likes Topo Chico more than any of the other carbonated
It's
waters.
the best carbonated water.
that
For
exists.
sure.
So for once, Jessica and I have common ground.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, stay tuned, Stephen. I think we're going to have more in common than you think.
Okay. Maybe. What the fuck are you doing?
Sorry, I got a message from my wife. I have to just make sure there's nothing going on.
She can't put a hold on shit for 2 fucking hours while we do this. It's unacceptable.
Sorry, she just said she's going to bed because she doesn't feel well. Could we please keep it down some?
No, I do what I want.
It's nice to see Gemma back on now. Gemma, if you missed it, we just announced this is my sister, Jessica, corporate attorney. Esquire is her designation. Senior corporate counsel is her title.
Yeah.
So
Go.
I have to actually turn and look at the screen now so that I can actually look at her.
I hate looking at the screen because I see this every time. And
So
you pick the worst camera angles.
So last week we talked about this Chappelle speech, whatever you want to call it, Unforgiven, where he talked about asked everyone to boycott Chappelle's show. Don't boycott any network, just boycott
which
Chappelle's
I still
show.
think is straight pandering to his audience, but
And it is. And you and I, where I played Chappelle's advocate.
Yeah.
I am torn on this. Yeah. But we got Jessica on to talk about it from a legal perspective, but then also to get her personal opinion as well.
Right.
So, Jessica,
do you
Let me
need to recap anything?
Do I need to recap anything?
Yeah, for what we talked about last week?
I mean, we talked about
well, the discussion became about was right and wrong versus what's legal.
Sure. And I agree that they're not breaking the law,
but you were saying like the right and so your argument
from Chappelle's perspective is the right thing to do is to pay him for that.
Right. And my thing was like, it's not because he signed a contract.
Absolutely. And I agree with
and to me, corporations have no obligation to do what is some people consider right or wrong. Like he did this legally, whatever. So anyway, Jessica, so I was just giving a recap. Sorry.
Right. So I'm with Stephen on this. So think about it from this. Dave Chappelle was 28 years old when he signed the contract.
Yes.
Almost fucking 30.
And you have seen this thing that he released. Where he talks about this,
Yes, I watched his videos. Read some articles to get a little bit more background. But he was 28 years old when he signed the contract. Even though he was relatively unknown, he wasn't, quote, new in the industry. This wasn't the first thing he was doing. It was absolutely not the first contract he would have signed.
Yep.
So when you think about it from a negotiation standpoint, the company, corporation, however you want to call it, who he signed the contract with, and him, who has, it's Comedy Central. So whoever has the most bargaining power generally gets more favorable contract terms. A contract that Dave Chappelle can get now, he wouldn't have been able to get back then.
Right.
So I feel like, while I certainly understand what he's saying, I feel like he's taken the position that he's in now and applying it to that position that he was in then. And that's just not the case. Comedy Central likely would have walked from the deal had he insisted on the terms that he gets in his contract now easily. So it is comparing apples and oranges.
Yep.
But at 28 years old, I don't know that you can claim that you're naive or that you're being taken advantage of, especially when you have an attorney representing you, which I assume he did.
Yeah, I think he did, and I think his argument is that what if his attorney and his agent, what if they were all in bed together?
That's all speculation.
It is speculation, but in Hollywood, that happens a lot more often than we think.
I mean, attorneys have an obligation to their clients. And so if he believes that that is what his attorney was doing, he certainly would have a claim.
That's a separate issue, though.
It's a separate issue. It's a claim against an attorney. Ineffective assistance of counsel could be something he claimed, or breach of.
And my argument was as well, is regardless of where he was at, the fact of the matter is like he wouldn't be where he was now if it wasn't for the contract. Like, so now he can say, well, they should pay me because they're using it. It's like, bitch, you signed those rights away, man. And like you're making the money you're making now because of that. And he wasn't forced to make it under duress. It wasn't under threats. There wasn't any other
fraud.
Right.
Or no evidence of fraud. He certainly hasn't said that there was any fraud, which again would be a claim he would have.
Well, sure. Well, in that regard, so as far as the right versus wrong argument, like to me, he signed a contract, right or wrong doesn't matter in this case. It's not it feels good to say, well, they should pay me because, they owe me this, and it's the right thing to do. But really the right thing to do is honor the fucking contract that he signed, in my opinion.
Right. And it's hard to think about it as right versus wrong, right? Because contract law, aside from like fraud, duress, there's not a lot of right and wrong. There is, what do the parties agree to? Was there a meeting of the minds? Was there consideration? He certainly was paid for his show. It's not like he got zero money. And
he broke his contract by fucking leaving.
Right. And so, it's not really a right versus wrong. It's, what did we agree to? And I agreed to it. And I participated in the show for 4 years?
3
years.
He did 3 seasons. Yeah.
Wow.
So
almost.
Yeah.
So,
which, by the way, not to interrupt you, but Sassy says hi, Jessica.
That's Gemma. Gemma says hi. And she says
hi,
she's
Gemma.
drinking an ocean water.
I don't know what an ocean water is, but it sounds.
I only know it from Sonic. Sonic has ocean water.
Right.
Is she drinking a Sonic ocean water? Or
maybe she's drinking some nasty ass salty shit. Like, who knows?
I'm not going to repeat what Don said.
I just said duty because he's a dumbass.
Anyway, all right. So we're talking about 28 under duress, and like one of the things he said was, and again, I'm torn on. You want another one already?
No, I'm waiting.
Oh, okay. I'm torn on this a little bit. Like, I completely agree with what you guys are saying as far as it's legal. That's just the way it is. And I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pose this question, especially to you, Stephen, because we're talking about, yes, Sonic Ocean Water, she says. Damn, I'm good. I know my fast food shit. You're talking about earlier about someone stealing to feed their family.
Uh-huh.
All right. So one of the things he said was, he didn't feel great about the contract, but he was a 28-year-old expectant father, and he thought that was the best thing to do for his family and did that.
And it was.
Sure. And while no one has broken the law, to me, it feels a little bit the same kind of thing. Well,
How?
I mean, you're saying
because
that
if that
someone's
person gets
stealing,
caught stealing, they're still going to fucking jail.
I understand that. I'm just saying.
Think about it like this. I'm 28 years old, and I find myself.
Oh, you're not.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I'm a lot closer to 28 than you are, buddy.
You're right about that.
But so I'm 28 years old. I'm expecting a baby. Let's say I have a car whose at this time would be worth about $5,000. I sell it to you, Stephen, for $5,000.
Sweet.
You fix it up. Maybe you have a platform to where you could sell it and you get $10,000 for it. Do you owe me that $10,000 because you were in a better position to sell it than I was? No, you don't.
But it's the right thing to do.
No, it's not. but it's not because you fixed it up.
Well, so think about Comedy Central. They own those airways or pay for those airways. They put it out there. They certainly contributed to the success that he has now. So it's similar. It's not exactly the same, but it is similar.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't think anybody.
Because in your situation, he would be stealing from them to feed his family.
No, I'm just saying it is a similar thing. It's someone making a bad decision but
it wasn't a bad decision. In retrospect, he's like, because the whole thing comes down to they're using my material, so they should be paying me for it. Sure. The fact of the matter is they already did. It's just like an artist selling their masters in a record deal. That record company, for right or wrong, owns your fucking masters.
And I agree. I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying.
I know you do, but you're trying to throw morality into it.
No, I'm really just trying to take Chappelle's side of it.
Because my thing is, though, for him, it's immoral to demand more money, demand them take you down, demand to get paid for that shit when his contract explicitly stated otherwise.
Sure.
That to me is more immoral than them making money off of it. But
he can certainly do what he wants, asking his fans, right?
Sure.
So let's talk about Netflix. So Netflix taking it off of their platform. Netflix has a relationship with Dave Chappelle.
Right.
It probably was the right thing for Netflix to do.
Well, from a financial standpoint, they don't have any conflict, so they're going to keep their financial secure by not pissing him off.
Right. Now, I don't know what relationship Netflix has with Comedy Central and how Netflix secured the rights to stream that or to allow people to stream it. Did Netflix have to pay for that? Probably. I don't know.
That they did. It's not exclusive rights because HBO Max was showing it as well. So.
Right. But, still from Netflix seat, I can certainly understand how they got to that point where, look, we have this great relationship with Dave Chappelle. He makes a lot of money for our company. The smart thing for us to do would be to pull it and keep this talent that we have happy.
Yeah.
But, the company that I work for has its own music label, enters into contracts.
I did not know that.
It does. Enters into contracts with artists as a routine part of its business. A artist that we just did something with for the holidays, she certainly can get more than we're willing to give smaller unknown artists. And that's just part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because at the end of the day, your company wants to make money. The artist wants to make money. And like you said, whoever has the most bargaining power is going to get more money. And it's not a moral thing, which is that's what bothers me about the Chappelle thing is he's spinning it as an issue of morality. And it's not an issue of morality, whether it was a dumb thing to do or not, regardless of that, he did it. And so to claim, oh, they're taking advantage of me, they're not paying me now, even though it's my material, it's like they already paid you.
Sure. I agree with that.
If it was unpaid royalties, if they're like, oh, they owed me this money and they've never paid me, boycott it. Sure. 100% I agree.
Yeah.
But because he got paid what he agreed, they can do whatever the fuck they want with it. Fuck Dave Chappelle. And I say that I love Dave Chappelle. I love his stand-up. But in this fucking instance, fuck the guy. He's being an unreasonable douchebag.
Sure. I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again,
Because
this is one of those things that I'm on the fence about.
Well, because if as a corporation, like, everything comes down to, well, this person really made it, because that's even more so. Like, if he was down on his luck and was struggling, and like the proceeds from that would help him, I would take less of an issue. I still wouldn't agree, but much less of an issue with him being better off than he's ever been, saying I need to get paid more money. No.
Yeah, right. If something happened and we found out he actually wasn't represented by an attorney, I would feel much differently about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you have an attorney, competent one anyways, your attorney's probably going to advise you this is the best deal you're going to get, considering where you are in your career. It's a pretty good deal. You know, he would get different advice today because of who he is today.
Sure. I agree.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was a long time ago. I don't know how old he is now, but it was a long time ago.
And that's my thing. I just hate pandering, and he's straight pandering. And that's what bothers me about it. Whether I agree with the morality of they should or they shouldn't, all that's irrelevant. Like, I hate the fact that he's using his platform to essentially manipulate people. They make their own decisions too, but he's basically using his influence and the people that love him to say, you know what, you should cost these people money because I feel like they should be paying me money. Like, he's using people that are just fans to do what the fuck you know, to get what he wants. And that's what I take issue with. 100%.
I think Don.
Don said, "I don't have $5,000."
No, but I also think Don has figured out the artist you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I can't see the comment.
That's fine.
It just says
Dolly. If you're
Dolly.
watching on Instagram, you don't see Jessica. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, you can actually see Jessica. So
yeah,
you can hear her on.
We're
Facebook,
slowly bringing it all
Instagram.
together. We just
Slowly,
haven't quite gotten there yet.
So,
but we're grab bagging again. Is that time?
Yeah.
That sounds so dirty. Let's get in that grab bag, baby. Let's grab bag this shit.
You want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. God damn it.
What's left in here?
Both is this a Hooters bag?
But it is. It's the only brown bag I could find.
Oh, you motherfucker. God damn, you asshole piece of shit. Fuck you.
I got kinky pink.
I'd rather have that shit, but God damn it. No,
I'll trade with you.
I basically signed a contract by drinking this. So my moral obligation is to drink the shit that I drew.
Well, and you know, people don't really think about contracts, at least not at this department, as moral or immoral.
No, and I don't think that running a business, people talk about it as a business, you should think about whatever, and I'm like, no, because a business is a inanimate object, for lack of a better phrase or whatever.
It's amoral.
You have to decide what's best for the business. And while I agree with fucking Don, while I agree with what you guys are saying, I think that the right move, not morality right move, I think the right business move for Comedy Central is to pay him.
Why?
Because I think it's just the same as the right move for Netflix because of their relationship with him and the way it will affect their business.
But it won't.
Is to take it
they
off.
They have no
of
relationship with him at this point.
I understand that. But if they pay him, then they then open the door to be able to have that on multiple platforms and more people watch, is what I'm saying.
But they have plenty of money without. But at what point, though, if you're in their position, do you allow someone to come back and say, you know what, you owe me money?
I understand. But that's the thing, you have to
do a deal with or try to recut the deal.
Sure, but you have to evaluate that on a case-by-case basis as a company.
But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if Chappelle ever works with Comedy Central or not.
Sure.
They own the Chappelle show.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't do anything for them to renegotiate with him at this, unless they wanted him to come back. Now, if
I'm not saying renegotiate with him, I'm just saying,
well, no, even
just
pay him
straight up.
Like, if they wanted to have him back, sure.
Because
they're gonna have to jump through some hoops.
I mean, clearly they've already lost some of their business or whatever, or future revenue from Netflix because of Dave Chappelle's stance on this.
Not necessarily.
Well, no, absolutely necessarily, because Netflix isn't going to show.
But
it.
if they've already been paid for
I
it, if it's
understand
not
that,
a per episode basis or
sure,
per
but that's
stream
why
basis,
I said future for Netflix to, because Netflix is now not going to renew having
right.
Chappelle show
Who
on,
owns
which is
Comedy Central? Viacom? They own
Yeah,
I
Comedy?
think
like
so. I
But,
think
okay,
so.
but the thing is, but Netflix, but they also, for them, they might lose that by taking it off, but they have all of his other stand-ups, and by appeasing him,
Sure.
they're going to be able to get more shit from him. So Comedy Central, if paying him would appease him and they wanted to work with him again to make more Chappelle show, to make whatever, then yeah, it would make sense. Outside of that, it makes no sense for them to pay them.
And the reason it makes sense to me is because so many more people now, young people that weren't old enough to even know that Chappelle show was on when it was on. Like we came into Chappelle show by pure happenstance of hearing about the
Right.
the black white supremacists. That is most people, at least in our area that we lived, that's what got us into Chappelle show. We heard about this crazy sketch about a black guy who was blind, didn't know he was black, and he's a white supremacist.
Right.
So I'm saying there's a lot of young people. Let's take my youngest kids, for instance, that had never watched Chappelle show before. So if I'm Comedy Central, now obviously I would have a legal team that I confer with, but I'm just saying, if I'm Comedy Central, I'm going, well, if we pay Chappelle for this, that then opens up for more people to see it on other platforms that we want to put this on, because then he's going to back us putting this on, is what I'm saying. That if we're paying him, then he's going to back us putting that out there, and then more people are going to see it. That gives us the potential to make more money off of this.
Maybe, but it
thing.
depends on how much it would cost them. Because if he's talking about getting back paid, then that could be.
I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he is or not. He didn't say.
I mean, my
I'm
guess
just
would
saying.
be that he would be trying to work out some sort of syndication deal where it's
Probably
right.
pay per stream. That's very expensive.
It is,
If I would, not knowing all the details, but if I was advising Viacom Comedy Central, I likely would not advise them to pay him. It just puts you in a position to have to do that with everybody else, and precedence is huge in the legal world, especially in the contract field. And so I just don't know that I could advise my client to do that.
How have syndication laws changed? And maybe you don't, maybe you do, maybe you don't. How have they changed over the last, let's say, 18 years since that was on? Because
I mean, certainly streaming.
Well, I would say that the laws are not,
There's not, so think it's not a law. We're not talking about.
Sure, I understand. Right. That's why I'm trying to find the right word, but I don't know what it is. But let's just say, let's take Friends, for instance. I'm sure when they negotiated their first contract, hell, maybe even when they negotiated their last contract, it went off the air while Chappelle was on. Syndication, there's no way to know. There was no way to know that.
No, but think about your guys' talent release.
Sure.
Any and all media now known or unknown.
Sure. No, I get that.
Covers it. That's been standard language in contracts.
Sure. Long time.
Well, it's just part of his gripe is that no one knows what that means. There's no way to plan or prepare.
I know
for
what that means, and I'm not a lawyer. Jesus Christ.
But there's no way to prepare for that. I mean,
there's no way to prepare.
25 years ago, you couldn't have been necessarily, not you for sure, but like you couldn't have been convinced that we would have an iPhone the way it is.
Let me flip this around though, from Comedy Central's perspective, outside of potential money, whatever else. If you were in a position, even say you bought me, or I bought a car from you, taking that whatever, and you sold to me for a certain amount, whatever, like a low amount, and I came back. And then what if you came after me and said, no, I'm demanding, I want that. You should either fucking give that car to someone else, or you should give me the money, or, let me phrase that. You should either not drive the car again or give me the money. Right. You know what? I'm going to be like, fuck you. This is mine.
Sure.
Because otherwise you're just bullying me because of your status now to give me what I want.
Understand
That's exactly what Chappelle's doing. Like, I'm big enough now that I can essentially hurt your business by demanding you give me what I want. That's all he's doing. He's being the fucking bully in this case.
I just think Comedy Central stands to benefit from working with him.
Regardless, like if you're talking about any type of right, which is where you started with this, like what is more right? Standing up against a bully that's demanding you do something because of a shitty decision they made.
I mean, I started out trying to argue his point, but now I've kind of branched off into my own thing, is where I think a business.
I think it's a terrible idea from a business decision.
Right.
They stand to lose way more money than they can to make.
The best way for Comedy Central to handle it would be if they wanted to
God.
work with him in the future, make it a part of their future deal.
That's exactly it. If they're wanting to work with him.
And that's
Like,
and
don't
from
do
my
it
perspective,
now.
that's kind of some of the same thing. They're
But is he
working
wanting
out.
to work with him, or is he just wanting his fucking
I
paycheck?
think that he's willing to work with just about anyone that will
But
pay him.
that's not how it came across.
I understand
how he
that.
Spun this
I agree with you.
was boycott them because they're not paying me for a bad decision.
No, not boycott
I made.
them. Boycott that show only.
Right. Well,
Right.
because
But
of that.
Within his rights to do that, right?
Sure.
That's within his rights to do that.
This is awful, by the way. Fucking awful. Fuck you for putting this in that bag.
You've had it better than I've had tonight. With the
I like how annoyed Jessica looks right now because I keep.
Why are you guys drinking airplane bottles?
because we wanted.
Oh, you missed. We did a grab bag. He put a bunch of different shit, and it's been random drawing for what we're
I bought
drinking.
8 different things.
Is all this at the liquor store? Is this just free stuff you've got?
No. I went and bought freezer. Yeah, like anybody gives us anything for free.
This, by the way, is Whisper Creek, Tennessee Spring.
Hey,
or
it
Sipping
could be
Cream.
worse because they have a peanut butter whiskey that I purposely didn't buy for you.
I would have bought it if I was buying it for you.
I know you would have.
Yeah.
No, I just bought 8
If there had been
different things.
if there had been an Ouzo bottle, there'd have been fucking 4 Ouzo bottles.
Yeah, no, I bought 8 different things for us to grab bag and get surprised by it. That's why. That's what happened.
Anyway, we're interrupting you, but no. So for the first time ever, I like your sister. Up until
For the
now, I
first time
fucking
ever.
thought she was the worst. But
Jeez.
until the time you guys gave us those fancy champagne in a can, that was pretty sweet.
Thank
I'm
you.
just hoping that one day she comes on. Let's see here.
I'm just giving you shit, Jessica. You've always been all right.
Oh, yeah. Gemma just asked, is this just a random selection of spirits? Yes, Gemma, I picked 8 different random things kind of off the shelf at the liquor store today so that we could just pick from a bag. Normally we have one liquor that we both drink. So for Gemma and anyone else listening, if there's something you want us to drink, whether it's good and you like it or it's terrible and you want us to think it's shit, send us an email, admin@b3fpodcast.com, and we'll send you an address to send it to.
Yeah.
And we'll drink it. If you send it to us, we will drink it on this
Send
podcast.
you guys a bottle of. I would like to see you drinking a bottle of champagne.
We did it New Year's or Christmas last year. We
I
drank
think so. It
champagne.
was some
What
shitty
you
shit.
drink?
I don't
Gross.
remember.
Cooks.
Probably like
don't know.
Cooks or Corbel or something like that.
Sparkling semen.
No, yeah, I don't remember what it is, but we yeah, sure. Yeah. But anyway, you're saying the first time you ever liked Jessica. I'm saying, like my family, like our hope.
You guys just started liking Jessica
No.
too?
No. Anytime we have to go to the area that she lives in, we stay with them. Like her.
Well,
Like,
they have a
so-
goddamn mansion.
so
There's
let me
plenty of
see.
room.
so I'm just saying, like her.
Because she's a lawyer.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 nieces and 3 nephews. No, I'm sorry, I
Wait,
don't.
hold
I
on,
have
hold on.
6 nieces.
I'm gonna interrupt you. I gotta shoot this because I can't sip on
Go
anymore.
for it.
So I'm gonna cheers you real quick because that's the fucking.
I
right thing to
have
do.
6 nieces and 3 nephews. Am I remembering that correctly, Jessica?
sorry.
I have 6
Let me think.
nieces.
1, 2.
6 nieces and 3
Yes.
nephews.
Yeah.
I forgot Krista was
that's
still
right.
in.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Well, she said I was a loud one earlier.
Well, there you go.
But anyway, so I have 6 nieces and 3 nephews. And when her oldest daughter was born, like that was like that it still is like to this day, like that's the great joy of being an adult is having her
Here's the
oldest
weird
daughter
thing,
as a
that
niece. And I
most-
love her youngest daughter as well, but
Well, she's still new.
sure.
We're
Must
not
be
sure
nice.
how they're still
My
yet.
kids suck.
Well, so
My sister's kids
crazy
suck.
thing
So.
is as don't like Joey as a general rule.
As a
especially
general rule. Yeah.
kids
course.
don't like Joey. But
Most adults don't like Joey.
That's true.
our oldest daughter immediately latched to him, and one of our other brothers. Most of the time, kids really like him, and our oldest daughter does not like him.
Nice.
She doesn't like David.
So
Well, your daughter essentially called me a fat piece of shit earlier. So
She absolutely did. 'Cause that's what I told her.
that from him.
yeah, I know. Which is good job.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, that's so we were talking earlier, Jessica, about somehow we got on the topic of life insurance with Gabe. Gabe came by to pick up his dog, and we for those of you that are new listening tonight, because I know at least one person is, that's 8. Yeah. Gabe is my oldest son. He's 24. We got on the topic of life insurance somehow. And I said, well, if something happens and I die, I've got plenty of life insurance to be out of debt. Like the family would be out of debt. That looks awful.
It does, but I got to clean it out of the.
So, and the joke has always been that I've left it to my daughter, that I've named her the beneficiary of my life insurance. And I said, well, you guys will never know until I die, because I think I trust her to make the right decision with everything.
Right.
And, but I said, Gabe said it could be left to Olivia. And then somebody said, well, maybe though he made Jessica the beneficiary because she's a lawyer. And then Gabe said, nope, wait, never mind. He left it to her oldest daughter. He said her oldest daughter's name. So yeah, that's the joke here, that I'm leaving everything to Olivia or your oldest. So
I'm leaving everything to Dan Harmon.
Are you? That is just money wasted.
When I die, all $5,000 of my life insurance that I was going to spend on Jessica's car is going to Dan Harmon.
So we'll have Jessica back at some point as my sister to actually talk about childhood and things. Because
Jesus.
But anyway,
do you have any other legal questions?
Do I have legal questions? No, I think so. And maybe she may
not know.
Do what?
I'll give you a little legal tip you may not know. Okay. Speaking of life insurance and beneficiaries, your 401k that you have at work, hopefully you both are putting money into your 401k.
Yes.
Your spouse must be listed as a beneficiary on your 401k policy. If your spouse is not, if you die, your spouse will receive it anyway.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I change the beneficiary to Olivia, Krista still gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That is there you go. For those of you listening, that is actually a good tip. Yeah. That it doesn't matter what the fuck you do with your 401k, your spouse is going to get it.
Yep. The same is not true with your life insurance. You can
choose I knew that. Yeah.
For your life insurance policy.
So here's a question. If I got a DUI, could you help me?
No. I'm sorry.
No, you couldn't, or you would refuse to.
When he gets
So when you get a DUI.
No, that's not what I was going to say. Go ahead.
I can help you find an attorney, but I practice corporate law, not criminal law.
What if I murder a CEO?
No.
But that would be corporate.
No.
When he gets divorced again, can you help him?
No, I'm not a family lawyer, but my best friend is a family lawyer.
There you go.
Would she represent me for free? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
God, no.
Pro bono, right? Isn't that what they call that? Pro bono?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that pro bono.
I thought there were people that just really liked you too.
It's good. No, it's people that like Sonny and Cher.
Oh, yeah.
My
bad.
So, I was going to say something else just a minute. I can't remember what it was. Good Lord.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
It probably wasn't important.
Such a waste of her time.
Oh, we're not paying her.
Hold on, let me ask you this. If you were charging someone for tonight, what would that cost?
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Yeah, you're right about that. Gemma says she knew that about the 401k.
No.
Nice.
Good for you, Gemma.
If anyone has a corporate, why you would, I don't know. I can't believe Troy's on there. Troy's a businessman. I can't believe Troy said he was going to watch. I don't know where he's at.
I'm not going to get a shout out for doing your talent release for free.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, but I'll say this is the person I've said before that my sister did our talent release. Yep. This is the sister Jessica that wrote up our talent release that I have had all of my guests that I booked
most of mine sign.
Yeah.
Reese just didn't.
Yeah.
Like I told him, like, I need you to sign this. He was like, no. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. So, God, there was something else I was going to say a minute ago, and I cannot remember what it was.
You were talking about having me back to speak about childhood.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have her on at some point. Our family, my family, is hoping that at some point that she and her family move back to Knoxville. They used to live up there. We moved to Knoxville, and a year later, they moved out of Knoxville.
Right. Well, so, I don't blame them.
But
we're there for 6 years.
Sure. And she managed to bring both of her siblings that she shares 2 parents with anyway to Knoxville.
Yeah, we're full-blooded.
And we can get back into this at another time. Just as a general question, do you enjoy full family like vacation time as much as this asshole does?
I do.
Oh my
I
God.
love having a lot of siblings. I don't really want to be
not about loving having a lot of siblings as much as going and spending time with all of the family remotely in one location.
Because I like my family. I mean, there are things they do that annoy me, but
okay.
Well, I would also.
I get that I'm not normal in that regard. Like I'm looking for information from other people.
I like the vacation that 1 week, which this is the first time we've done it for a full week. We've always done it like 4 days. 4 days, yeah. So, how many siblings? Jim says how many siblings?
Goddamn many.
So, if you count the step parents and you count both sides of the family, Jessica and I have.
There's 6 of us. If you count both sides, there's 6 of us. If you count the side we go on vacation with, there are 5 of us.
Yeah. There are five of us on my dad's side, and then 4 of us on my mom's side. So, because we have a stepbrother and stepsister on my mom's side, and a sister on a stepbrother and stepsister on my dad's side, and a sister on my mom's side that we don't share the same dad with her. But
I have a sister, and I can barely stand to spend time with my family.
But same mom, same dad. Your parents are still married, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your parents are still married.
Yeah. Somehow, yes.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the 1 week of vacation with the whole family on my dad's side anyway. And then I enjoyed the couple of times per year, which really I think lately has only been at Christmas. That we see everybody. Like I enjoy that one night at Christmas for that. But as far as like being around a sibling, for whatever reason, David's just written me off. I don't know. Like I only see David at family gatherings and only hear from him for those kinds of things. He's boycotted the podcast. He won't come on here.
Why?
You've
know
had
why.
the conversation with him. I don't know. He'll hang out with me if I invite him to come over here sometime.
He doesn't boycott
about it. No. He's boycotted the podcast.
Oh,
he won't come on here. But like
he won't come on because he's a bitch. Is why he won't come on.
He is afraid that you're going to jump on him about something. We're going to jump on him about something.
Which you wouldn't. I would.
No, I think I would because I love seeing David get worked up or something. It's the funniest thing ever, especially when he's drinking.
Actually, other than a couple times here, the last time that I had seen David was at y'all's house when he got super drunk and angry. And
that was my birthday. Yeah. That was my birthday, 2014. Yeah. When you guys still lived in Knoxville.
That was the year we moved. Yeah. We moved later that year.
Yeah, because Krista had to behavior analyze him.
Night. That was a real good night.
That was a very fun night. I think your husband passed out in the garage in the car. David passed out at your dining room table before his girlfriend came to get him, and then the other 3, me, Steven, and
did y'all stay?
No, I think we ended up going home afterwards.
Y'all just lived down the road, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
That's the only time I have ever driven drunk.
Yeah.
Was not that night, but another night, me, her husband, and our brother David went out, and we met another guy that worked with her husband at a bar, and we all drank, and then we all hopped in a vehicle and drove back to Jessica's house, and then drank a little more. Actually, David didn't ride with us there. David went home, and then I got in the vehicle and drove the 1.5 miles to my house.
Wait, I don't remember this.
I don't. It was sometime during that year, but that's the only time. No, it wasn't. It was late 2013. This is the only time in my life I've driven drunk.
Okay.
Really?
I've driven while drinking, but never driven drunk.
I've driven drunk so many times.
And I wouldn't have done it that night had it not been a back road like it was literally pull out of her neighborhood.
Speaking, you're more likely to die in a short drive than a long drive, Joey.
Sure.
That's true.
But not at 3:00 in the morning. No,
Dude, one time I was fucking shit faced and I made a right turn on a red and I was so drunk. There's a giant fucking sign that said no right turn on red.
Sure.
And I just blew through that bitch. And the cop pulled me fucking over and somehow, I guess he I don't know if it's because of the time of night or whatever, but he stayed back away from the car because I know I was sweating fucking booze. And he was like, all right, you have a good night. And then another time I was like, oh, I'm bipolar. It's my medication has got me all fucked up, and showed it to him. And he was like, oh, okay, well, just you fucking get home. Don't do this shit anymore. But I've used bipolar for so many fucking excuses over the years. And like some of them have been legitimate. Some of them, no, but I can play that card. It's kind of nice.
So, okay, Stephen, I have wanted to ask you this for a while. Way back episodes, you mentioned that several years ago you were having, I don't know the right term, like an episode. Is that the right?
I'm offended that you would use that term. No, that's right. An episode,
okay.
yeah.
So, and we ended up at a bar in Lebanon, Tennessee. Yeah. So I am quite familiar with Lebanon. Mm-hmm. What bar did you end up at?
It was some Irish pub. They had food. It was a white building.
Okay.
A larger parking lot.
Okay. Was it? Oh shoot! I think I know what you're talking about. Mm.
Yeah, they have like a porch area. Yeah, that sounds right. Mm. And they had like an inside. There's tables on the left. That's all like vaguely. And there's like when you first walk in the door, there's some shit to the right. There's like a small dining area, and then they have like a big bar that goes to the back. Yeah. And they served me food and whiskey. I don't know why. I don't remember much of it, but yeah.
It's an Irish pub. That's it.
Yeah, but I left from Huntsville, Alabama, and I somehow ended up in Lebanon at a fucking Irish pub.
I don't know how anyone ends up in Lebanon.
I don't remember the drive.
Really be intending to go there.
Yeah. Well, I think I remember driving and was like, I need to find an Irish pub. And I fucking pulled it up on the phone, and that was the first one that was on the list for whatever reason. And that's where I went to. Sure. But I mean, that was like probably 20 fucking lorazepams in. Like, it was a stupid amount.
In one day?
In like 2 hours.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And what's funny is they said I was trying to like fucking attempt suicide, and I wasn't. Like, it was one of those, they had changed my medication up. It was on Juden, I think was what it was called. And like, I was all fucking ramped up, but I took one, it didn't work. I took another one, it didn't work. So I took another one, it didn't work. And next thing I knew, I just popped those motherfuckers. And but what they got me for suicide, because after they got me to the hospital, after taking all that, evidently they wouldn't let me go smoke. And I told the fucking nurse, I called her a cunt and said, if you don't let me out of this chair, I'm going to goddamn kill myself, you bitch. And then I got aggressive. Like, they put me in restraints. I don't remember any of this shit. This is what they told me later, but they put me in restraints, and all I wanted to do was go have a cigarette, and they wouldn't fucking let me go outside.
Yeah.
And then I got to the VA psych ward, and they sedated me some more with some other shit. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was nuts. No. Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But episode, yeah, that's the right word.
Episode. So anyone watching, there's a handful of people watching. Anybody got any questions for Jessica? Anyone at all? And they, she's
I don't practice in a very like sexy area of the law.
So what does Troy say? I'm sorry, I just see that Troy has not. Is this the attorney? Yes, it is the attorney and Pills. He's talking about Stephen now. Sounds like Joey was slipped a Cosby. What? Dang it, Joey, Stephen. I didn't know this was a serious subject.
Cosby?
No, the problem is he didn't know that we were having a serious conversation about this kind of stuff, and now he feels bad.
Is this the attorney? Yeah, and Pills. Yeah. Don't feel bad, dude.
But dang it, Joey, Stephen. I didn't know this was a serious subject.
Troy, you insensitive dick. We don't have serious conversations on here.
Not often.
I mean, we do, but they're always welcome reprieve from. Yeah, I told you they might be changing my diagnosis. I'm waiting on an official appointment call back from a civilian psych. But the tricky thing is,
bipolar to dickhead. What?
Yes. No, but here's the thing, though. The thing they might be changing my diagnosis to is not payable under it's not a dischargeable thing under the VA. So that's why I'm going to a civilian doctor.
Just tell them they have a contract and morality doesn't come into
I have no morality. It's so flexible. But no, so the VA will never fucking find out as far as they're concerned. Bipolar all the way. I'm taking that goddamn paycheck because I got fucked in the ass by them more than once. But the official diagnosis could possibly change.
Okay.
But So I don't know how that works though. Like if the VA found out that got changed, or if they go with what the VA doctor, I don't know how that works. So I'm just not going to
go back. They'll make you go back.
Go back in what?
Into the service.
No, they couldn't. Maybe I've been discharged. All the paperwork said they could. No, I know they could. In theory, they basically would take away my because if your diagnosis is just changed, like you don't have to pay shit back, but they can sever my fucking benefits.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you just need to act super crazy.
Well, the thing is psychology. This is the weird fucking thing about psychology, is it's all like there's this criteria you have to meet for certain things, right? And if you check these boxes, you could be diagnosed for X, Y, and Z. But like half of it, there's only a few things they can actually verify with biological medicine.
Sure.
But most of it is just based on these trained doctors understanding behavior and how things pan out. That,
Sure.
okay, you have this, and this, so this is the category you fall under. Mental health is it's a fucked up, like as far as support goes in the US especially, but even from a diagnosis perspective, that's why it swings so wildly. Okay, ADD becomes a thing, and suddenly all these hyperactive kids are getting thrown under the ADD bus, but
Sure.
they're not, because there's so little known about it, and there's no way to confirm certain things with quote unquote medical science. So it's very much the opinion of the person that's evaluating you, right? Based on what has been textbook of people that have studied this. And I'm broadening the subject a lot, right? But it's still what it boils down to is me being bipolar. They can't take me and put me into a CAT scan and fucking look at the results and be like, oh yeah, you're fucking definitely bipolar, right? It's just because my behavior meets these check marks and the things that I've dealt with. So this is what the diagnosis is. And there are people like all the time that are misdiagnosed with different things just based on them hitting certain check marks, right? And then after medications don't work and after this doesn't work, then they end up kind of getting to the bottom of where the fuck they actually are. And it's not an exact science. You know, it's not like they can do an x-ray and see, oh shit, your arm's broken. You know what I mean? It's a very, like, to me, it's a very fascinating thing because it's much, much better than it used to be when, you know, they used to be like, hey, you're a lady, you're having some issues. Let's give you electroshock therapy, and then we're going to give you a couple orgasms and send you fucking home. Like that was psychology back in the day. You know, it's like, oh, we're going to fucking like masturbate you to get rid of your hysteria and then send you back. You know, it's fucking weird ass shit, but it's come a long way since then. But but there's still not a lot of tolerance in America. There's still this very much of, you just need to fucking deal with your problems and move the fuck on.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's not a lot of support out there. But antisocial personality disorder is what a couple of them are saying is potentially true.
That sounds about right.
Which is sociopathy, basically.
I got you.
Yeah. Which
All
is
right.
fucking sweet.
That's enough about you. No,
I was talking about mental health, and then I
got
just
you.
worked myself into it because spotlight.
Yeah. So if someone, so
she's just like, do I hang up yet? What do I do?
No. Back to legal. If someone were going, and I know this is a very broad question, but if what's the number I'm calling in and not cracking.
Oh, hold on, Troy. Hold on. I forgot to put the banner back up.
So Troy's going to comment. So just if someone were going into business,
there you go,
now,
Troy.
What kind of advice would you give? And I know that's a very broad question because it kind of depends on business, probably. But like, what kind of advice would you offer someone that was deciding to open or start a business of their own? Let's just say
a dildo store.
Well, Dildopolis.
So a retail store.
Yes, you're a retail. Yeah.
Tomato.
I would say first, you need to have a business plan. There are lots of resources in larger cities that can help you as a small business owner create a business plan. That's what I would do first.
Okay.
Then I would decide what legal entity was right for my business. Is it a corporation? Is it an LLC? Is a simple general partnership going to work? That's what I would do. I would never advise
Should we
somebody.
set up an LLC for us, by the way? Would that be advisable at this point?
I mean, with not having had an in-depth conversation with you two about what your goals are,
Hold on a minute.
potentially, yes, you should.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
To accept, press 1.
We got a caller.
To send a voicemail,
Yeah, hold on just a
press
second. Let me put
2.
him on.
So one question while he's connecting this.
Troy, let me put you on hold for just a second. Let me put you on hold for just a second.
ahead.
Do Jews make better lawyers?
My boss is Jewish.
Exactly.
And he's phenomenal.
There you go.
I won't say a bad word about him.
I just, facts.
Do they make better financial consultants?
Which race would make the worst lawyers?
Oh.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so we got a call here from, I think it's Troy. Yes.
Did you not hear my name, young son?
Well, I thought it said
heard
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that sounds awful blasphemous.
Jesus Christos. Now look. Is this so? Have y'all talked about the Dave Chappelle thing already?
We did talk about that. Yes.
Well, what do you got to say? Chime in.
Well, I want to ask young lady, is that when are contracts no longer important? Yeah, I may have already covered all that, but I don't care.
No,
we're starting over
now than ever. They're certainly important.
So why is it that when the party, the smaller party, like the Dave Chappelle's not a small entity at all as a brand, but in general, the smaller party never complains when the bigger conglomerate is winning or it's not winning. But it's only when they're winning people can complain that they try to back out of their contract. Because if I remember correctly, Dave Chappelle quit.
Right.
And no one came after him or went after him or nothing, right?
Yeah, he quit with one episode left.
But one episode left, and he was championed about it, right? Besides the fact people thought he was on drugs and out there with Steven, doing Molly. But the fact is showing up in bars he didn't know he was at. But now that's a serious subject. But past that, but I'm just want to know.
Oh, it's not.
Why is it the fact that it's okay, lawyer, for the smaller entity to be okay with suing, but then if the larger conglomerate is winning, they try to say, "Oh man, it wasn't morally right. I just don't feel right." Why is that okay to do for them to try to fight that?
I think the answer is okay. What's okay is subjective. Under the terms of the contract, I don't know that Dave Chappelle has a leg to stand on. No hate, no shade to folks with only one leg.
At all, yeah. There's nobody's hate. We all love
that sounded very ableist to me.
No, I don't think he does.
Nobody's hating.
But I also don't think he's suing either. But no. Well, I think this is a broader issue with our society, at least in the U.S. lately. It's like if you're the larger of the two parties, the whatever, whether you're a corporation, whatever, you're immediately demonized as wrong. And I think more so if your adversary is a minority of whatever race it is a minority.
Steal, kill, and destroy.
Not even minority, but just in general. Like Stephen mentioned last week about how he knows plenty of artists. You all know people that done so-called got screwed into business, but that's just business. And people typically work out their contract and then find out, I could have done something smarter and better. So then they leave it and do something else different.
Sure.
That's okay. I get that. But when they say, well, don't boycott me, don't buy, don't boycott the big conglomerate, boycott me, don't watch my show because they're not paying me money. Well, they was going to give you $50 million. You decide not to do it, one episode left. And now you're mad because they're taking their material that they own and capitalizing on it. I don't see how that's fair or how that's even logical to do. Like you would expect someone to come back and negotiate and say, okay, you're right. Let me give you some more money.
Right.
You wanted $1,000. We gave you $1,000. Get over it. That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
Sure.
No, I agree with you, Troy, 100%. I think that Dave Chappelle is able to cut better deals for himself now than he could then. And so he knows more now, and he knows that the deal he got isn't as good of a deal as he could get now. And he wishes he had done better, and this is the only way he knows how to address that. But it does seem like he's trying to recut the deal when he, as a 28-year-old man represented by an attorney, knew what he was getting into and agreed to it.
Yep. But and I also, like I said, I feel like that he's using his position to pander to his huge fan base to try to leverage that point. Like
I think he is doing that. Yes.
Yeah. Which that to me is more immoral than them holding him to a contract that he signed.
I think that he feels somewhere inside, like his lawyer, his agent, whatever, that they were all in cahoots.
That doesn't matter.
I understand
it's
that, but
feelings.
Sure, I understand, but he's going off of he's making decisions off of feelings.
But he's using his position, the same thing that he talks about, like celebrities pandering, all this other shit. He's doing the exact same fucking thing under his own sense of justice, and it's fucking bullshit.
And you see that a lot.
I mean, Stephen made a logical point. Go ahead. Well, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna say,
God damn it, Troy.
With children in the industry, like child actors, a lot of their contracts don't contemplate syndication and don't contemplate them getting paid for the shows that they star in once they're in syndication. And I think you'll have to check me on this, but I think the kids from Saved by the Bell didn't get paid for syndication of that show, which still plays today. And you can make an argument that the studio knew that most actors would ask for that, and these kids didn't. Should they have done it? I don't know.
But whose fault is that, though? I mean, like, whose fault is it to make sure? I mean, you read the contract,
right? I mean, a lot of times when you're advising a client in that situation, if I was advising a client in that situation, I would say, look, you're relatively unknown. The studio is taking a chance on you, and this is probably the best deal you're going to be able to get. And if you do this, then you're going to be in a position 10, 15 years from now where you can get a better deal. You can't get that deal now because you just don't have the fame.
Right.
But
I said, like Comedy Central made Dave Chappelle's career. If it wasn't for that contract that he broke, he wouldn't have anything that he has now. More than likely. Like, it's all hypothetical, but
sure.
But I think the devil is the cause of all the conflict that's going on here. If everybody just came to Jesus, this shit would there wouldn't be an issue.
No, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think I just have the opinion also that it would behoove Comedy Central to work with him on this, to sit down and have some negotiations with him on this. I just think that they stand to benefit from Chappelle's show more down the road, because Chappelle's fans will boycott that show because they can
boycott all they want. They can just start selling them more like they did before. I mean, I don't think they're gonna lose. They already made a ton of money already. Now they just probably gonna be greedy if there's anything else. I mean, it's like, hey, we got what we needed, so whatever.
Well, because people are lazy. And people love the Chappelle show. And most people aren't going to get on that same righteous indignation that he's trying to put in them and boycott it. Like, if it's on and they like it, they're going to watch it because that's fucking America. Like, that's what we do. We're lazy and we really don't care about anything other than our own convenience.
No, I agree with that. But I do think that there will be, I just think that they will benefit more by having his quote, his blessing of putting that on another platform.
The reason I disagree is because this has just now become an issue because it hasn't been on. Comedy Central is doing just fucking fine without Dave Chappelle, and they still own that, and they're still going to see it.
Right.
Unless they're wanting to work with him again, it won't help them at all. It doesn't fucking matter.
I think it does help them to be able to put that on other
when they're
platforms.
Making like millions upon millions a year. It doesn't matter. And it's not.
Hey, Joey, Joey, do you on your lunch break go out and hug a couple of trees while you taking the smoke break?
No, he finger bangs me in the bathroom.
No, but I'm also trying to play devil's advocate in this situation.
I'm with you, and
I lean more towards where the three of you are. I lean more towards where the three of you are at. I don't think that Comedy Central owes him anything. I just think that they would benefit from trying to work with him on this.
I think the only player in this that benefits from working with him is Netflix.
Yep,
for sure. They definitely benefit from that. For sure.
And the right time for Comedy Central to address this, if they want to address this with him, is if they're trying to cut another deal and you throw this in as part of it. Right. If that's not in the cards, don't do it.
Yeah,
Doesn't
especially
make
like
sense.
you said, if they're owned by Viacom, they have it's a drop in the bucket compared to all the other shit they have going on.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it's not just Comedy Central, so to speak.
Sure. But I also think that if they worked with him, that they then get some goodwill points from
Especially when you think about
society.
the fact that, he did them wrong too.
Yep. He broke contract.
So if you're
That's
looking at
that's the whole nobody's remembering that part. Like,
because in
they
theory,
can come out to him and say, hey, you actually owe us.
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. And they may
Because
say
they
"Look,
were
this
because
is
they were
how-"
actually, I don't know all of it, but in my remembrance of this, they were actually pretty gracious about not coming
They
after
were.
him when he broke
They
his
were.
contract.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So to me, they've more than paid for whatever. Like,
Yeah, and they may say, look, like we did us being able to to sell this or have it streamed on platforms we own or are affiliated with. It's how we are sort of making up for what we would have had.
Yeah.
If you had stuck to your end of the deal. I think you're right, Troy.
But they also didn't lose any episodes with him leaving. I mean,
yes, they did.
No, they
yes,
didn't.
they did.
No, they didn't lose any episodes.
They lost
did
the third
that
season. They had renewed the third season.
He did a third season. He didn't do the last episode.
No,
they had Donnell Rawlings and Charlie Murphy.
That wasn't heated. They used rehashed skits
Yep.
that they hadn't used, and they made a third season out of that. That was abbreviated. It was only like 6 episodes. They didn't get a full third season with new material that he had signed in his contract.
An additional season as well.
Yeah, I don't know what the
essentially
the
they cost
case
him
is
a
there.
full season of ad revenue. Essentially, if you look at it that way, which is millions upon millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be the case. I don't know for sure about that. I just know that when he left, they had one more episode left that they still did.
Yeah. Well, it was a short. The third season was like 6 episodes.
I think it was longer than that, but it was
I
short.
just rewatched it. There's like 6 episodes. But anyway, also Troy, as long as we have him on the phone, dude, you sent me one dick pic. It's amazing, but that's enough. You don't have to send them to me every fucking night, man.
I was gonna send 2 more.
Okay,
but I had a couple of hair showing, but I want to make sure.
I mean the creative angles are nice, but Jesus Christ, dude, I know how big my arm is. I don't need to see it again.
Well, his 2 more was a pick stitch. So I mean,
yeah. Hey, this is my last one. My last question. I want to ask all 3 of y'all this last thing. What's y'all feelings on when the comedians get upset because Netflix didn't offer them enough money?
I don't care
for their specials.
I haven't. Who has complained about that?
Well, we know Monique complained about it. It's mainly Monique, period. But what are y'all thoughts on that when someone says they offer me enough money? Like,
you took the contract.
First of all, I'm quite sure. But I'm quite sure they probably don't ran the numbers to see how many people you're going to have watch you.
Sure, there's a lot of analytics to go into it. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So if you got offered $500,000 or whatever, with all this going on now, you could have truly, probably set your own stage up like a lot of them have done.
Absolutely.
And then just lease it to them.
Well, that's what Bill Burr has done, and some of the other ones have done, where they finance their own special and then they sell it to whoever the highest bidder is. And but they maintain ownership of it. They just sell the syndication or whatever the term is for it.
But again, like you're trying to argue, like going to the Chappelle show or anything, it's like anytime you're arguing something in retrospect is a shitty argument. Like it's a stupid thing to say, well, I should have gotten this. It's like, well, you didn't at the time. You agreed to getting this. So fuck yourself and make better decisions in the future. Like you can't argue. Like I can't come back to my boss and be like, well, you guys should have paid me this when you hired me, because I'm only getting paid this because whatever. It's like, no, I agreed to what the fuck they hired me for. It was where I was at. It's what I needed. Like I can't go back and say you guys didn't pay me enough and it's immoral. You should pay me the difference between what you hired me for and what you're paying me now. You need to fucking pay me back for the difference. No, fuck that. They can't do that shit. That's bullshit.
The three of you, do you think that there's any positive that comes out of this? And the only thing I can think of as possibly is that some of these entertainment companies, Viacom, whatever, possibly do better contracts for people
no,
to keep. You don't think so?
I think that changes. No.
I don't think it changes. Why would they have to change anything? Because, he even admitted, hey, man, I was 28. My kids were hungry. I'm about to have the child away. So, They gave him a good deal. They just, you know, a deal to them that he accepted.
Yep.
So I don't think that changed nothing either.
Changes it more is people's ability to self-produce.
Mhm.
And that could potentially change.
But I feel like that whole
Contracts
expecting
with
kid thing was just some emotional shit thrown in the pandering because he had just started half baked prior to that happening.
Sure, but he didn't make a lot of money.
Maybe he didn't make a lot of money, but he'd established himself. And
But it's a cult classic, though. Yeah, that makes a cult classic.
Yeah, and maybe not.
But it wasn't then, though.
But he still was in the industry enough that other jobs could have happened.
I'm just curious to like, what was he saying to his friends and his family when he signed the Comedy Central deal?
Sure.
Was he happy with it, or did he say like, "Look,
I bet he said, I'm rich.
I would,
I would like to hear
from. I would like to hear from Neil Brennan, who the co-creator was.
I would like to hear from Dave Chappelle on this. Call in Dave Chappelle.
No, I would like to hear from Neil Brennan. He's kind of his co-creator and executive producer or whatever, that they worked together, wrote a lot of this stuff. I mean, I would like to hear his thoughts.
But the whole thing is like, we're a couple of douchebags sitting behind microphones speculating on all this until you're there. But I just know, based on what's being shown, I don't feel like he has a leg to stand on. That's my point. Right, wrong, morality, whatever aside.
I agree.
And I have a hard time because notice too, it's never fucking like, maybe it's because they don't have the platform to do it. But the people that are truly dicked over that aren't already rich, you don't usually hear coming back after, well, they owe me this, and this. It's already the people that have already making a money and established like, oh, I should have made more money on this. You should pay me this money. You know.
Sure. But I think that goes back to they don't have the platform. All right.
Well, I'm a hop off, man. But before I go, I want to tell y'all I appreciate what y'all doing. I love the guy show. I love this whole conversation. And then also I want to make sure that when I hang up, I want Steven to make sure he said, "Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy he called in. I just don't make sense. I want to hear all that you did for that last guy that was called in." Okay?
Dude, I'll tell you right now, I've been jerking off the whole time you've been talking because that sweet, sexy phone voice.
I'll let y'all, man.
All right, man.
Have a good one.
Man, I am so fucking glad Troy called in. God damn. It was so good to hear from him. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Well, Jessica, thank you for calling in. You've been awesome to talk to. Like, I take back all the shitty things I've said about you behind your back.
Yeah, don't think
or most of them. What?
Poking fun.
She said, "Don't think she hasn't heard you poking fun at her."
I never.
Valley and all that stuff.
Well, that's some bullshit.
Let me just ask you. Why do you hate that so much?
Hate what?
Why do you hate the fact that two people who you really don't know go to a place and have a vacation?
Oh, I don't care about that. Do you take your kids?
I have taken one time.
That's why I judge you.
Wait a minute. She took someone to keep that kid while she was there.
Okay. Completely different.
All right.
Completely different. My whole point is there's a certain kind of people that vacation in Napa Valley every year and falling into
people that can afford it.
Yeah. Well, people that can afford it, but you know, I'm saying, do you have a refined palate?
No.
Okay. She can admit it. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. I'll give you a pass.
McDonald's is my favorite restaurant.
Yeah. So my whole thing is, out of all the awesome places in this whole fucking world, why shitty ass California? That's all I'm saying. If you really love wine, go to fucking Italy. Go to fucking France.
I like New World wine.
That's from the devil.
I don't really like Bordeaux's, Burgundies. I mean, like champagne, but I just don't care for that. It's not what I like, and maybe that means I'm a stupid American with an unrefined palate.
You said it, not me. No, my whole point being, no, like all joking aside, like I get people love wine, people love California, like I get that for sure. But and this is not bagging on
Napa.
What's it? Yeah,
you've been and done the winery thing.
I haven't gone all the way. I mean, I've driven through and I've seen wine. I lived up around Petaluma, California for a while.
Oh, okay.
But
you take advantage of the fact that you had access to all this great wine.
No, I drank whiskey because I'm an adult man. But so no, here's my thing. Like, and I get it. Like, if you love it, like people love what they love. It's like people that fucking love Tennessee football want to go to every goddamn game. Sure, good on you. It's what you want. But there's a whole fucking world of experience and other things outside of the U.S. I can't afford to go there. I get it. I get not everybody can drop fucking 10 grand and go to fucking Europe for, a week. Sure. Like, I get that. But when there's nothing outside of what you desire than what's right here in this fucking 50 states of this shit ass country we call the United States, that's when I start having an issue. And I'm giving you shit about it, Jessica. Like, for real, I do. But
we've been a lot of places. I mean, before we had kids,
like Texas, New Mexico,
no,
Wyoming.
Yes, we have been to Texas, New Mexico. I've not been to Wyoming. But like, we've been to Tahiti. We've been
everybody blows it in my face, Troy. No, I know. Like I said, I'm completely giving you shit. Like you love what you love, and I get that for sure. And I just like giving people shit because I'm poor and I can't go to Napa Valley every year. So, it's just how it is. So I'm bitter on the inside.
That's for Troy, dick.
No, and so what I like to joke about, because there is you cannot deny that there's a very stereotypical type of person that goes and vacations in Napa Valley every year. You cannot deny me that fact.
I mean, I guess, but when you're there, it's really not what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm. Because you're
maybe I can't see it. I don't know.
I just think that our current state in this country, Napa Valley needs our support. Napa Valley needs our support right now.
Let me ask you this, Jessica.
It's not enough for the governor of California to go have his unmasked 12-person
party.
Have
you ever gone on holiday to Compton to see the rich cultural history there? Or how about to Harlem? Have you gone to visit some of the great black leaders that came out of that? Have you gone to visit there on vacation?
I've been to New York on vacation.
I didn't say New York. I said Harlem.
No, not Harlem.
I think she drove by there.
They rolled up their windows and locked the doors.
By there. Somebody drove her by there.
No, I don't think I've ever been to Compton. The closest I've been would be.
I've driven through Compton and I was fucking terrified. I'm not even gonna lie. That was a horrifying experience for me.
South Chicago is the only place that I've been like that in. Southside Chicago.
I have been on the in the Aruban ghetto.
Were you on a mission trip?
No, I was on vacation.
She's on vacation.
I know. I'm joking.
Ghetto. Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, we ended up in the wrong part of town.
This sounds like a lot of great conversation for another episode when you're here in person, which you're going to do at some point, correct?
Yes, sure.
I'm only saying this because I have to piss so bad and I'm wanting a cigarette, and we're well over 2 hours.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
All right.
That's fine.
Jessica, thank you for calling in.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And for all the free legal advice. We're going to expect more of this the next time.
Legal advice.
What did you say?
None of this was legal advice.
Oh, it absolutely was, and I'm holding you to it. I'll be like, next time I'm trouble, I'll be like, oh, my lawyer told me this, and this is what her name is.
She is not acting like a lawyer in this situation per se.
I am a lawyer. I am not your lawyer.
Okay, that's fair. Well, thank you for being my lawyer. I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. All right.
And that was my sister.
That was your sister.
I love my sister. Gemma, thank you. Good show. Please share us with your friends and family and tell them not to share us with their kids unless their kids are adults.
Or just, your terrible parents, in which case let your kids listen to us. That's fine. But no, thank you guys for interacting. Thank you, Troy, for calling in. I genuinely appreciate it. Yes. Genuinely.
She is so calm, it's scary, he says about Jessica. She is very, so here's what I'll say about my sister. She used to be very tightly wound.
Mm-hmm.
And in all love, like she was very tightly wound. She's I guess if someone's the black sheep, she's the white sheep of it. She's the one that my dad says he's proud of whenever he talks to people. But
I wouldn't be proud of you.
But once she had kids, her demeanor changed completely.
I'll give you that. I would agree.
It really did.
Not that I ever knew her that well, but the little I did, she's way different after having kids.
Yeah, but she and I have also talked a lot more lately than we used to talk. I don't know why. I think it just comes in spurts or whatever, but
I always do.
Sure. But anyway, yeah. So
it was a good episode.
Back to what I was saying. Gemma, thanks for tuning in. Please share us. This video of the live show will be up on YouTube for the next 24 hours, and then the version will come out on Wednesday of the video. For anybody who wants to watch it. The audio, as always, comes out Monday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Please share us. And again, if there's a liquor that you, or wine or whatever, it doesn't matter. If it's alcoholic and you want us to try it out, then send us an email, admin@b3fpodcast.com. And we'll send you an address that you can send us what you want us to try.
And also, we're going to start announcing what we're going to be drinking the following week on the episode. So if you want to drink with us while we're on, you can pick up whatever. And
so next week we'll drink something, but we will announce what we will drink the next week.
Yeah.
So,
all right, guys.
That being said, thanks everyone for watching, and please follow us on all the social medias and share us.
All right. Cheers.
Have a good night. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at B3F Podcast and on Instagram at B3F_podcast. Send us your questions or comments to bfff.podcast@gmail.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen to the show. And as always, thanks for listening.